Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. I am back in my natural habitat, which is, oh God, but I'm also not in the right position. Oh God, my arm's being cut off and everything. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am back home. I got back yesterday. Another deadline. The deadlines are really coming thick and fast, but they get back to normal very soon. And yeah, it'll just be the classic Fridays and Saturdays. Although then we get into chip season and double game weeks. FPL really is chaos, isn't it? But welcome. I feel like my equipment isn't properly set up. Believe it or not, I'm still absolutely manic. So after this, I'm then going to Manchester tomorrow with FPL Pickle to watch Manchester United versus Newcastle. I'm then off to Birmingham to spend New Year's Eve with Pickle. And then I'm off to London a couple of days after that to record FPL Therapy. Then I'm back in Nottingham. So I've done London to Essex, to Nottingham, to Manchester, to Birmingham, to London, to Nottingham in the space of about 5 or 6 days. It's crazy. And let me tell you, if you live in the UK, you know this, that is about £55,000 on trains. The trains in the UK are obscenely priced. But here we are. No more complaining. How are we all doing? Let me know what you're doing right now. Let me know, let me know what you're up to today as well. Slightly later deadline, which means that should be really more awake. And I actually woke up at like 7:30, but I feel very tired. Could have bought a car for the price of the tickets. I actually genuinely have probably spent over £1,000 on tickets in the last few weeks, which is disgusting. The UK train scene. And also there's so many strikes and delays that we're not even on time. I can't remember the last time I was actually on time with the train as well. But there we are. At least we have trains, I suppose. Bench one of Hall, Robinson, and Mbermo, Rogers, Jesus. I'd honestly start Lewis Hall. I think Newcastle are going to absolutely batter Man United. And Mbermo, Rogers, Jesus. Bench one of those. I don't think you can... believe it or not, probably Brian Mbermo, even though he's the penalty taker. He's just got probably the lowest chance of scoring outside of the penalty. So, yeah. Got a super chat from Shazam. You bloody legend. Early Happy New Year for Tuesday, Russ and Pickle. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, this is my last live stream of 2024. What an amazing year it's been. It's crazy. Benching dilemma. Thinking of playing a 3-5-2, which benches João Pedro, but lets me play Rogers and Enzo, but who to bench, Hall or Robinson? Yeah, in all honesty, I probably would pay Rogers and Enzo ahead of João Pedro this week. Who to bench from Hall and Robinson? I think on paper, if you look at bookies odds, Robinson will have the greater chance for the clean sheet, but I just like that Lewis Hall's on set pieces. I think Manchester United have been weaker than Bournemouth in recent months, across the entire season, really. I honestly think I would probably bench Robinson and start Lewis Hall. I don't like that my arm's cut off here. It's not nice. Anyway, this is the situation that we are currently in right now. This is my team as things stand. In terms of my plans today, I'm not really sure. I obviously want Palace, right? Palace attack, Palace defence. They're going on an insane fixture run. They play Southampton this week. And by the way, Southampton, I think, will be a little bit stronger than they were under Russell Martin. But of course, the focus is on Crystal Palace. I could get any of the Crystal Palace players, right? I could sell Lewis for Munoz, easy. I could sell Sanchez or Fabianski for Henderson, nice and easy. I could sell Bruno Fernandes for Sarr or Eze, nice and easy. And I can sell João Pedro for Mateta. I think there's a very good chance that I bring in 2 Crystal Palace players in this live stream. I think Munoz is quite likely. And I think one of Sarr, Eze or Mateta is also quite likely. It's just like, which one do I want? Which one do I prefer? Lots of things to think about. But yeah, Crystal Palace are pretty much the only ones on my mind outside of Anthony Gordon. I think Anthony Gordon in for Fernandes is also a really nice transfer. So to sum up what is most likely to happen on this live stream, Lewis to Munoz is very likely, which does mean benching Robinson. But I just think Munoz is brilliant for this week and beyond. And then it's probably Fernandes to Sarr or João Pedro to Mateta. I think is most likely. Although, like I say, I've just got a feeling about Anthony Gordon. I think Anthony Gordon's going to go on a really nice run now. Could even outscore Isak. There's my rogue prediction, is that over the next few weeks, Gordon could be the one that goes absolutely massive. But there we go. Can I just ask you, the 1,000 people that are here, the absolute legends, the early ones, could you just drop a little like on the stream just to get it started, get the ball rolling? More and more people will tune in then. I appreciate if you drop a like and make sure to subscribe as well. It's got to be Mateta today. I really want Mateta. I've had a gut feeling about Mateta for a long time now. You guys will know that if you've been watching the videos. I've been speaking about Mateta for about 4 or 5 weeks. And in that time, no, he's not necessarily returned a lot. But I just got a really big gut feeling about him. Good morning, Ross. Good morning, Claudette. Munoz is fine. Bournemouth aren't awful. Yeah. Robinson is great, though, and Fulham are great. I don't love... But the thing is, also, Robinson will be my only sub. So if any of my players miss out, I like the fact that I've got Robinson off the bench. So yeah, I think I am going to make the move. The reason I've not made any moves yet is the price changes haven't affected me. Like last night, João Pedro went down in price, but that didn't affect my selling price. So there was no need to panic about that. So yeah, I'll be making my decisions on the stream. If I was to choose right now, right this second, the deadline, I would do Lewis to Munoz and I would do João Pedro to Mateta. So that's the most likely set of transfers at the moment. And listen, I don't think João Pedro is a bad hold at all. In fact, I think he's a really good hold. But I like the idea of going a little bit risky and a little bit punting. If João Pedro goes on a really nice run now, just bring him back in. I'm going to have to sell Cunha soon anyway when Cunha gets banned. If Cunha gets banned in the next couple of weeks, which is very likely, I can always go back to João Pedro. I'm never afraid to reverse a decision. And it's not like he's going to be massively overpriced or anything by then. Even if he scores a couple of goals against Villa, he's still going to be below 6 million by the time I want to bring him back in. So yeah. My prediction for Cunha, by the way, it looks very likely that Cunha will play against Spurs. I think he'll miss game week 20. So I don't think we'll get another game out of Cunha. If we do, I'll just keep Cunha indefinitely until he picks up the ban. But I don't think it will continue. And also, if you watch Vitor Pereira's press conference, he says that they've been trying to train and develop the players for when Cunha basically gets banned. He didn't say that, but he said they have to prepare for that when it happens. He didn't say if it happens. He said when it happens. So it sounds like Wolves are very aware that a ban is coming for Cunha. It's just been delayed because the FA have been off over Christmas. Aren't you thinking about Phil Foden? Am I thinking about Phil Foden? Not really, no. Nah, he's so expensive and it just causes a headache moving forward. Even if he plays this week, which I don't know that he will, but if he does, great. He'd probably do very well against Leicester. But beyond that, he's using a lot of budget up for a player that you don't know will start every week. And also, like, City just every week are bad. And I know he had a decent game against Everton, but the players around him aren't, right? He created loads of chances, yeah, but he's creating chances for players that aren't finishing them. So I have no issue with Phil Foden, but I just don't think it's a wise use of a transfer right now. Do you think Gomez starts? Well, Joe Gomez? I think so. If not, -4 to Munoz. I'd still be tempted to bring in Munoz. I don't love doing that for a hit, though, so maybe not. Maybe not. But, yeah, I do think he probably does start. Transfer in for Saka, Sarr or Gordon? I think I might marginally prefer Gordon to Sarr, but just be aware that obviously this week it is a better fixture for Sarr. So if Sarr goes massive this week, you're not particularly surprised. I think I would go Gordon ahead of Sarr. And I think if I sell Fernandes on this live stream, it probably will be for Gordon ahead of Sarr. But I do really like Ismaila Sarr as well. I just think the next 5 fixtures are brilliant for Newcastle, especially for their attackers. And also Newcastle performing at an extremely high level as well. Dave says, 1 free transfer, 0 in the bank, good to go and roll. Raya, Trent, Robinson, Colwill, Salah, Palmer Cap, Erdegaard, Rodgers, Isak, Jackson, João Pedro, bench of Fabianski, Semenyo, Konsa, Davis. I mean, yeah, when your bench looks like that, Dave, you know you're in a great position. I mean, you could make a move if you wanted to, but I don't really necessarily think there's that many places you could go. Yeah, I'd probably leave it, especially with 0 in the bank. Maybe, yeah, get to 2 free transfers, and then you've got a bit more flexibility in terms of moving the funds around. I fell for the Jesus trap. He was horrid. Go to Mateta. I don't think Jesus was a trap. And yes, he didn't have a great performance, but I still think he's a fine player to have and to hold, personally. Give a wildcard PSA. Yes, thank you very much, Frosty. If you've still got your wildcard in your pocket, the first wildcard, then you need to play it now. You need to play it before the deadline, because by game week 20, the next wildcard becomes available, and you can't carry the wildcard across. So if you've not yet used your first wildcard, activate it now. Even if you only want to make 2 transfers, and you've got 2 free transfers, still activate the wildcard now, because you can save the free transfers. So regardless of what position you're in terms of free transfers and how much you like your team, if you've not already used the wildcard, please activate it now. FPL Pickle says, that hoodie looks nice. Yes, my wonderful girlfriend bought me this hoodie. Thank you very much. Does Jackson even start? I hope not, but I think he will. I think there'll be slightly less rotation for Chelsea than we expect. I don't think Sanchez starts, though, and that's not pessimism. I just don't think he does. I've looked at a lot of predictions from Chelsea fans. They think Jorgensen starts, so I won't have a goalkeeper this week. To be honest, most weeks it feels like I don't have a goalkeeper anyway. Sanchez probably gets 1 or 2 anyway, so yeah, I think I'm going to be playing with 10 men. Which is sad, but it is what it is, you know? If he does start, then great. I suppose if he doesn't start, it does also mean that he doesn't pick up his 5th yellow card, which is good. That's one of the small. I bet he gets booked off the bench. I tell you what, if Sanchez doesn't start and gets booked on the bench, I'm done. I'm done with FPL. I quit. Good morning, Ross. Start Sells or Sanchez? I mean, I would Sells. I was going to say I'd just start Sells. Better defense, probably a better fixture, arguably from a defensive perspective. Right, where was I? If you're just joining the stream, welcome. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year as well. This is my final stream of 2024. Feels a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional. It's been a wonderful year on YouTube for me. I've loved what we've built here, this channel, this community, and thank you for all of the support. I'll give a proper thank you at the end of the stream, but yeah. Massive thank you for all of the support in 2024. This won't be my final upload of 2024. I'm going to be probably doing a video either later tonight or tomorrow morning. But yeah, it'll be my final live stream. João Pedro to Mateta, Bruno to Gordon, Fast to Munoz from -8. I love all 3 of those transfers. Mateta, Gordon and Munoz look beautiful coming in. Do I want to take a -8 for that? Not particularly, but maybe just to get your team sorted, it might be worth it. Get Isak for João Pedro or Raul for a hit. I have Gordon. Yeah, I would sell Raul Jimenez before João Pedro. Yeah, I would buy Isak for Raul Jimenez in it for a hit 10 times out of 10. Because the thing is, even if Isak doesn't go massive now, his price is going to continue to rise probably. He's in such great form. He's on penalties. Newcastle was starting to tick a little bit as well, especially with Gordon off the left. They're looking a lot better. Yeah, I would get Isak in. Khan says, opinions on bench boosting. Valdemarsson and Mbermo, Mikalenko, Castagna. Nah, that's not a bench boost for me. Bournemouth are a really decent attack. Mikalenko doesn't show that much attacking threat, so he might get you like 6, maybe 7. And then Valdemarsson's definitely conceding. And is Mbermo going to break down that Arsenal defence? It feels like it could get you like 10 to 12, maybe 15 if you're lucky, but that doesn't have like a massive upside for me. I think there will be better weeks to bench boost. You might even be better off like next week with that bench. I would try and get a better fixture for Valdemarsson before I was happy playing the bench personally. And especially at this time of year, you might just get random bits of rotation as well, so I probably wouldn't do it. Linus, 2 free transfers. Bowen on the bench this week. João Pedro to Jesus/Wood. Yeah, I don't mind either of those. Or Bowen to Sarr, or both and bench Rodgers, or just roll. I think I prefer Bowen to Sarr. The fixture run coming up for West Ham is pretty rough. João Pedro is on penalties. I'm not enamoured by Jesus and Wood as options. I'd probably do Bowen to Sarr, Linus. Start 2 of Mbermo, Semenyo, Colwill, João Pedro. Oh, that's a tough one. I'd probably start Mbermo and João Pedro from those options. Colwell's not got much attacking threat despite getting an assist and a disallowed goal last week. Like, generally, he's not shown much attacking threat. And Semenyo's playing a very resolute Fulham team, so yeah. I'm 6k overall, can give you advice if you ask. Yeah, maybe you should run the YouTube channel. I'm off the back of a red arrow. No, there's much more to YouTube than just a rank, of course. Where was I? I've lost where I was. Disaster. Where was I? I don't even know anymore. Happy festive period from Japan. Happy festive period to you in Japan. Japan is probably top 3 places I want to visit in the world, Andrew. So big love. I don't know if you live there or if you're just there for the season. Enjoy a drink on me and up the tune. You are a fantastic legend. Play Hall versus Robinson. This might be Manchester United pessimism. I'm going to watch the Manchester United Newcastle game, courtesy of Manchester United. Thank you as always to them. But I would play Hall. He's on the set pieces. Manchester United, by the way, are so poor from set pieces. I mean, they're so poor from set pieces, we actually conceded a goal direct from a corner with Cunha. But I think Hall being on set pieces, his creativity, the way Newcastle were playing, I think I would start Hall instead of Robinson. Liz Clark says, attackers are Palmer, Salah, Rodgers, Enzo, Erdegaard, João Pedro, Cunha, Isak. Who to bench? Or any transfer requests for free? That's a great team, Liz. When you've got that benching headache, it's a great position to be in. I think you either bench... I think it's Rodgers or João Pedro. What way do you think the Brighton Villa game will go? I guess predict that yourself. I'd probably bench João Pedro. I think Villa are likely to win that game. I could even see it being something like 2-0, 2-1 to Villa. So I'll probably start Rodgers and bench João Pedro. But I think considering João Pedro's on penalties, you could definitely lean towards starting him if you wanted to. Start Timber or Mbermo. Hope you had a good Egmas. Thank you very much. I think most algorithms will tell you to start Timber. I'd maybe bet on a Brentford goal there, but Timber probably is more likely to keep a clean sheet than Mbeumo is to score. I think Timber's probably the one to start, but I think Mbeumo has the higher upside because he could get a penalty and he could grab bonus as a result. I'd start Mbeumo if it was my team, I think. But that's probably not a very popular decision. Pavel says, bench 1, Trent, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Pedro Porro. Probably Pedro Porro, because I think Spurs will concede. And then bench 2 of Enzo, Eze, Erdegaard, Maddison, McAllister, KDB. Bench 2 of those. McAllister would be the number 1 that I would bench. Outside of that, it's probably Maddison, because he might not start, but I think he will. And then bench 1 of Haaland, Isak, Mateta, Son. How many players are you benching here? Out of Haaland, Isak, Mateta, Son, I would bench... It's got to be Son. But I don't know why you're benching that many players, but they would be the ones that I would bench. But definitely, I think McAllister and Pedro Porro would be top of the list out of those options. It's a good position to be in, though, because your team is clearly very strong. Is this the final team, Rossi Boy? No, I've not made any transfers, actually, Miles. So this is definitely not the final team. I mean, I could roll it, by the way. It does look like it could be rolled. I've got 2 free transfers. I've got 2.9 million in the bank. I think it's likely that I make a transfer. At least 1, potentially 2, probably 2. Abdul Rahim says, hey Ross, thanks for all the tips you gave throughout the season so far. You are more than welcome. Thank you for your generosity. I have a defensive headache. Gabriel, Timber, Robinson, Mikalenko. Which 3 to start? Also, is it worth it to sell Jota and João to Gordon and Mateta for a -4 hit? I don't know that I would take a hit for that. Although I again don't expect Jota to start. If you were to ask me, it will be Gakpo and Diaz. So it could be worth it. But if Jota does start, and the chance he does start, and I like him a lot, I probably wouldn't take that -4 hit. And in terms of your defence, I think you have to start Gabriel, Timber, Trent. So I think you have to bench Robinson and Mikalenko there. I just don't think you can justify benching Arsenal and Liverpool defenders for other defenders. They're too good. They're in a league of their own, those 2 defences. Despite the fact that obviously Liverpool have conceded a lot of goals recently. Jay says, start 2 of Mbeumo, Semenyo, Colwill, João Pedro. I would probably start João Pedro and Mbeumo from those 2. We have got Discover with Sim says, good morning, handsome egg. Good morning. Hope you are well. Howson or Robinson. And also hold Bruno if we have a good enough bench going forward versus Southampton. Yeah, I think with Bruno Fernandes, unless you just don't really want him anyway, maybe you brought him in and you regret it and you're actually thinking there are other players I'd rather own. Or maybe you've got a really weak squad in general. You've got like Dibbling on the bench and you can't really afford for him to be out. Unless you're in those 2 boats, I'd probably keep him. In most positions, I would hold on because what has changed? Yes, he got sent off, but nothing should have changed massively overall to make you now think he's not a good option. Chris says, hey Ross, bit of a benching nightmare this week. Bench 1 of Gvardiol, Castagna or Colwill and 1 of Rodgers or João Pedro. Gvardiol, Castagna or Colwill. Out of those options, I'd probably be benching Castagna. And 1 of Rodgers or João Pedro, probably João Pedro. So probably Castagna and João Pedro. It's a bit of a benching headache, though. I will definitely admit that. Start Lewis or Colwill. I'd probably start Lewis, Zodiac. Or just sell Lewis for Munoz and start Munoz if you don't have Munoz. I'd probably be very tempted to do that. The thing is, Lewis is probably going to start. It is Leicester, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does something. But I said that against Everton, and he comes away with 2 points. Toby D says, good morning. 1 free transfer, both keepers out. Who's the best 4.5? Henderson, probably. Probably Henderson. If you can get up to Pickford, Pickford's fine as well. But I'd probably go Henderson. I still don't mind Sells too, but I just think at his price, Jordan Henderson? Not Jordan Henderson. What is his name? Oh my God. What is Henderson's first name? Why have I blanked? Something Henderson. Oh my God. What is his name? What is wrong with me? Henderson. What is Henderson's name? I'm just going to look at his name. It is Dean. Why did I forget Dean Henderson's first name? Right, not Jordan Henderson. God, I promise I haven't been drinking alcohol over Christmas either. That's a lie. I did have 1 rum and coke, and it was a double. But no, really, I'd go for Dean Henderson. Oh, God, what a brain fart. Jordan. ADHD, Ross. Yeah, I know. Fake United fan. This is it as well. We used to call him Dino. No one actually called Henderson when he was at United. He was Dino. I don't know why that we blanked. I blanked. Hopefully that's not a sign for my players blanking. Ralph says, hi Ross, hope you had a great Christmas and a new year full of green arrows. I did, thank you. Well, I didn't have green arrow yet, but I'm going to get green arrows in the new year. Currently sitting 6.5k in the world thanks to you. That is insane. That's not thanks to me, mate. Otherwise, I would be there as well. That's thanks to your own decision-making. Palmer Captain, what are your thoughts? I really like it, and I think it's basically 50-50. Do you know what? I'll run a poll now. Game week 19 captaincy. Yeah, let's get a poll sorted, because I think it is actually pretty tight. Palmer against Ipswich. Probably Isak's the third most popular shout, I'd imagine. I actually really like Isak captain. I'm not going to lie. Manchester United are all over the place. But you just never know. There have been a couple of decent performances for Manchester United under Amorim. There haven't been many, but there have been a few. So I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle win like 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. I am very tempted by Palmer. I think for me it is Salah or Palmer. Listen, I'm going to the Manchester United game as a Manchester United fan. I don't really want to captain Isak for that reason. But yeah, I do think he's a fine shout. There is a captaincy poll in the chat. Make sure you're voting on that. And whilst you're on your phone, laptop, TV, make sure you drop a like on the stream. You can like the stream on your TV. Press the up button, hit the like button, and make sure to subscribe as well. I do really appreciate it. Jeremy says, ahoy, my spicy Soboslai move aged like milk, innit? I did say that he does get benched quite a lot, but for him to then come on and get a yellow card, that was terribly unlucky. But yeah, he is a rotation risk, which is crazy because he's so good, but he just doesn't get the minutes. Also, would you do Solanke to Isak for free transfer or sideways? Solanke to Isak isn't a sideways move. It's a massive upgrade. I'm not promising you that he will outscore Solanke this week. Solanke might outscore him, but Solanke to Isak for me is not a sideways move at all. Freddie says, João Pedro to Solanke or Semenyo to Gordon or just roll? I prefer Semenyo to Gordon. I really like that. Ben says, Kirkhead to Munoz this week or wait, love the stream. Thank you very much. I would do it this week. This is the entry point for Munoz. Otherwise, you can wait until game week 21. You obviously aren't going to bring him in for Chelsea next week. So I would probably do it this week if it's for free. If it's for a hit, I would just play Kirkhead. Bench one defender and one midfielder. Iwobi Rogers. I'd bench Iwobi. Colwell Robinson. I'd probably bench Robinson. But if you don't feel fully comfortable benching both of your Fulham players, I wouldn't mind starting Robinson ahead of Colwell. But I do think Rogers is a better option than Iwobi this week. Izzy Gaming says, Eggy Egg from Eggland. There's lots of eggs there. Start Aina or Pedro. I'd still probably start João Pedro, but Aina's got a very good chance for a clean sheet. Very, very good chance. Semenyo to Rogers or roll. I'd probably just play Semenyo. We've seen recently that trying to move around these cheap midfielders doesn't necessarily work that well, so I'd probably just roll. Sean says, got very drunk over Christmas and Haaland came in my team and has blanked since. Now I have Haaland out fear. 2 free transfers, what to do? If you've got Haaland this week, you can't sell him this week. I've been saying every week I would still sell him. I would not be selling him ahead of Leicester. In fact, I'd probably captain Haaland this week if I owned him. And I know that is an absolutely ridiculous thing to say based on the man's form, missing a penalty. It's Leicester and it is Haaland. And if there is a game that City... If City lose this game or fail to score lots of goals in this game, it's over for City, I'm afraid. This is the game. They have to go big here. Like, Leicester are all over the place. Although, a much better performance, I would say, against Liverpool overall. I would be pretty happy captaining Haaland this week, really. Who to bench? Enzo, Mbeumo, or Timber? I wouldn't bench Enzo. I think it's a nice fixture for him if you've got him. It'd be Mbeumo or Timber. Do you think Arsenal keep a clean sheet? If you do, start Timber. If you don't, then start Mbeumo. I'd probably start Mbeumo and diversify a little bit, personally. Because Brentford can score a lot of goals, can't they? MN Chuckster with the huge super chat says, hi, Ego. 1 free transfer. By the way, thank you as always, my man. So, so kind. Would you do Saka to Gordon or save the transfer? I'd have to start both Ahmad and Semenyo otherwise this week. By the way, thanks so much for all of the content this year. Still enjoy FPL stuff, even though my rank is rank. Here's to a great 2025. I appreciate you in every single live stream being here. It's very much appreciated. If it were my team, I would do Gordon in a heartbeat. I think Gordon's a really good option for the coming weeks. And I don't necessarily think that Ahmad or Semenyo are that perfect for this week either. It's not like the pair of them have great fixtures. So I would make the Saka to Gordon move. And then it just comes down to like, how do you predict the game's going? Do you think Bournemouth will score against Fulham? Do you think United will score against Newcastle? I would probably have Ahmad slightly ahead of Semenyo. So yeah, I would do the Saka to Gordon move. And thank you for all of the support. Where was I? Rio says, Timber to Munoz. I have Raya, Powell, Hall, Trent. Would I do Timber to Munoz? If it's for free, yes. Otherwise, no. I wouldn't do it. Well, I wouldn't do it for a hit. I think if you can for free get Munoz in this week, then I think he's the best defender to own at the moment in FPL. He might be one of those bandwagons, but he's just been so attacking. And dissimilarly to 8 Nuri, Wolves weren't a good defence at the time. Crystal Palace aren't as bad defensively, so I also think you have clean sheet potential there. Strand Larsen to Gakpo or Fabianski to Becker. Have Pickford. I think if you've got Pickford, then you don't need a goalkeeper. But I don't love selling Strand. I think Strand Larsen could do well against Spurs this week. But if you're going to do one of those moves, considering you've got Pickford already, I'd probably do Strand Larsen to Gakpo. Yeah, I don't mind Timber to Munoz at all if it's for free. I know a lot of people are asking about that very specific move because they want to free up a bit of funds. Maybe you've got like triple or double Arsenal defence. I certainly don't mind it. But Timber has been very good, and he's so good for bonus points, Timber. He always seems to be right up there with Saliba and whoever scores in that game. And he does have some attacking threat from set pieces. Trent, Gabriel, Timber, Colwell, Mikalenko, who to bench? Same as always, you bench Colwell, Mikalenko. I think you've got to start your Arsenal and Liverpool defenders. Zaid says, got Flecken, Mikalenko, Davis, Robinson, Gabriel, Vandenberg. The rest of the team is like yours. I have 3.8 million in the bank. Who do I transfer in? Flecken seems injured. I think Flecken out for Alisson, Pickford, Henderson, something like that makes a lot of sense. And I think going in and getting Trent makes a lot of sense as well. So I would probably do something like Davis to Trent and Flecken to Henderson in that position, Zaid. Hopefully that helps. Mark says, hi Ross, Raya, Trent, Colwell, Timber, Robinson, Kulusevski, Salah Palmer, Rogers, Isak, Jackson. Bench of Valdemarson, Ahmad, JP and Kirkes. Great team. Any suggestions with one free transfer? Thanks for the help this season. Lovely egg. Thank you for the super chat, Mark. That's a roll. I think that's a roll. Great defence. Really solid midfield with some great fixtures. You've got Isak and Jackson in there as well. You've got a great bench of Ahmad, João Pedro, Kirkes. I mean, it's borderline a bench boost, Mark. You roll that transfer, I think. Yeah, I mean, there are some other attacking moves you could make this week if you want to go out there and do something like Kulusevski to Sarr. That would be the only thing I'd be tempted by, but otherwise leave it. If you do want a Palace attacker, maybe look at Kulusevski to Sarr as an option. This was a Christmas present from my mum and dad. Very cute. I do love a pint glass as well. I only drink water in my pint glass, but look at that. Little FPL Raptor glass. They also got FPL Pickle, a glass with an FPL Pickle logo as well. I don't know what happened to me a couple of years ago. I just decided that I love water. I used to really hate water, and that's a strange thing to say, but I never used to drink it. Now I love it. I still don't drink enough, but water just suddenly became really good. I think it's when you become an adult. When I was a child, I didn't like water, but there we go. Where's the Leif Davis mug? Oh, do you know what? I'll go and get that in a second. I do have the Leif Davis mug with me. Still thinking of Mateta this week. Yeah, I do think I want to do João Pedro to Mateta. I think it is quite likely for me. Right, where was I? Hey, Rossi, I transferred in Munoz for Ryan 8 Nuri. Do you think that was the best player to bring in for him under 5 million? Absolutely. Brilliant transfer. No issues with that. And then Semenyo, Munoz, João Pedro. Who to start? Well, you start Munoz. Yeah, I'd start Munoz ahead of both of those. He's attacking and he's got the best fixture and he's got a chance for a clean sheet. I think Munoz is great. I'm almost definitely going there myself. In fact, I might make that move in a second. Hi, Ross. I'm thinking João Pedro to Mateta, which gives an attack of Semenyo, Palmer, Salah, Gordon, Sarr, Jesus, Mateta, Salah. Love it. Thinking I bench Semenyo. I am very tempted to make the same move as you, and I would also bench Semenyo in that case. Yeah, I think that's a really nice transfer. Listen, could João Pedro go on now and score 3 goals in the next 2 games, or even a couple of goals against Villa? Yeah, absolutely. But you can't live in fear constantly. Any player that you take out at any given point could go on and score. Even if you're taking out like someone with really rubbish fixtures. Like I remember when I took out in Burmo, I knew full well that the man could go on and do really well, and he did. He got a return in the game that I sold him. It happens, but I equally think you can't, like I say, live in fear of, I don't want to transfer this player out because they might do really well. That's going to happen with most players. Shane says, love the channel. Porro to Munoz from -4. I wouldn't do that from, would I do that from -4? I don't know. -4, I'd maybe just play Porro, but I do much prefer Munoz. So maybe if you just really want him in, go for it. But a hit for a defender, especially taking out someone like Porro who has attacking threat against the Wolves team that do concede. I know they've got back-to-back clean sheets, but do you know what? Maybe I would do it. It's very close. Bench one of Porro, Semenyo, Enzo. I'd probably bench Porro. I'd start Semenyo and Enzo there. Colwill to Munoz. I lost where it was. Colwill to Munoz or Nottingham Forest defender. João Pedro to Jackson or Strand. I think João Pedro to Jackson is a really nice move. I'd probably make that one. Although beware that there is a chance that Jackson doesn't start this game because there have been a lot of games recently. So just bear that in mind. But I would probably do João Pedro to Jackson out of those moves. Dave says, Robinson to Munoz a fine move or too luxury. I would much prefer to sell any of your other defenders to Munoz. Like if you've got Colwill, I'd even rather that. If you've got a cheap defender, I'd rather that. It's not luxury per se. It's just that I think Robinson's great. Like I just brought Robinson in. I'm delighted that I own him. And next week, Robinson's got Ipswich, I think. Is that right? Is it Ipswich? Yeah. Next week, Robinson's got Ipswich and Munoz has Chelsea. So next week, you'd much rather have Robinson than Munoz. So I feel like it's a transfer which might look nice this week, but I just think I would like to hold on. I would probably like to hold on to Robinson. Hall or Robinson and Rodgers or Enzo. Hall or Robinson and Rodgers or Enzo. I would go Hall and Enzo probably, but I think Rodgers could do well. It's a nice home game for him. But yeah, I'd probably go Hall and Enzo. Matuata says, hey Rosso, thoughts on Rodgers / Enzo to Eze / Sarr? Want a piece of the Crystal Palace attack, or do I go Vandenberg to Munoz? Already have Trent, Gap, Hall, Howson. I'd be tempted to do both of those if you've got 2 free transfers, but I think Vandenberg to Munoz would be more of a priority because both Rodgers and Enzo have a great fixture this week. If you do want to sell one of Rodgers or Enzo, I'd probably hold on to Rodgers and I'd sell Enzo. Just based on the fixtures coming up. And because obviously Lavia is still not fit and Enzo is playing a slightly more reserved role. So yeah, I would say out of those options, Vandenberg to Munoz and then Enzo to Sarr probably is where I'd go. Buy Munoz or Trent. I'd still prioritise Trent ahead of Munoz, I think. But I'd ideally like to own both of them. I think that's the best setup. I think your best back three that you can possibly get, which is why I'm going to try and be there this week, is Trent, Munoz, Gabriel. I think you'll struggle to do better than that back three, I think, especially considering the price of Munoz. Bench Hall or Gvardiol. I think you have to start Gvardiol personally. And one of Kudus, Rodgers, and Pedro. I'd probably bench Kudus. So I'd start Gvardiol, Rodgers, and Pedro. Hitik says, Happy New Year, Ross. Thank you very much. Your advice on Gordon/Cunha early has helped gain me so many points. You are more than welcome. That is why I'm here, to try and help you get on those players as early as possible. Start one of Robinson, Hall, Lewis, or get Munoz for Lewis. If it's for free, I would get Munoz for Lewis, I think, and start João Pedro or Rodgers. I'd probably start Rodgers. I'm backing Villa to do better in this game than Brighton. See, I'd probably buy Munoz if it's for free, and I'd start Rodgers ahead of João Pedro. What are your views on Henderson and Sells rotation instead of Raya Allison? I like it a lot. The only thing is with rotating goalkeepers, Sadiq, is that when you expect a clean sheet, they never come, and when you don't, they sometimes come. So, like, often, the weeks that you wouldn't ideally like to play a goalkeeper is the week that they go massive. It's happened with Sanchez, actually, hasn't it? Like, if you look at the weeks where you might have expected a clean sheet, like Southampton, they didn't keep a clean sheet. I know it wasn't Sanchez anyway. He got his clean sheet against Villa at home. If I had another keeper to rotate with Sanchez, I would have absolutely benched Sanchez that week. Leicester away, you would have expected a clean sheet. He didn't get one. I think Everton's the only predictable clean sheet there. So I just feel like with keepers, rotating sounds great on paper, but it's often very difficult to predict. That's my only concern. But I do really like Henderson and Sells as a pair. Absolutely. AM says Hall versus Colwill and 2 of Jota versus Ahmad versus João Pedro. I would start Hall ahead of Colwill for the attacking threat, and I don't think United are going to have many opportunities in that game. And 2 of Jota versus Ahmad versus João Pedro, I'd probably bench Ahmad, especially if you're starting Lewis Hall. I'd maybe go all in on Newcastle and start Jota and João Pedro there. Jason says, hey Ross, bench Howson or Timber, got Gabriel. I'd still start Timber. I'd bench Howson. Chelsea going full strength, might use the bench boost if yes. I don't think Chelsea will go full strength, but I also don't think they'll go weak. or fully rotated. I think there'll be like semi-rotation. I think one of Palmer, Enzo, Jackson could miss out. They could like rotate one of them. I think we could see a situation where Jorgensen starts instead of Sanchez. We might see a situation where one of Gusto or Cucurella is given a rest. But I don't think it will be that many. I don't think they're going to go fully second team. You're not going to see like a full 11 rotation, I don't think. But yeah, I would be surprised if they don't use this as a bit of an opportunity to rotate some of their key players. Would you sell Bowen to Gordon on a free if you don't have Isak? I don't think Isak matters here. I would still probably do it. I think Gordon is a really good player to own in the coming weeks, Dan. So yeah, I'd probably do that. Munoz, Robinson, Kirkez, Hall, João Pedro. 1 to 5 to start. I would have at the very top Munoz. I would have second João Pedro, third Hall, fourth Robinson, fifth Kirkez. Jamie, off the top of my head, that's where I'd go. Izzy says, hits for defenders are so not worth it in the top 100k. Well done for that rank. Yeah, I agree most of the time. I think someone like Munoz this week, it's tempting because really good chance for a clean sheet, but also he's literally playing like a right winger, so it feels less like a defender because you feel like he's got a very good chance of getting a return at either end of the pitch, I guess. Shazam says, going out for a few drinks with the mates. Have a great New Year's Eve with Pickle. Stay safe and see you in 2025. Thanks for all the great content in 2024. Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate you more than you know. What an absolute legend. Yeah, I'm sure we'll chat very soon. But if not, have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Stephen has been a member. Stephen, you've been a member for 39 months. What an absolute legend. Hi, Ross. I'm looking at Henderson or Munoz. Okay. Munoz causes a benching headache because I would have to bench one of Castagna, Rogers, or Jackson. What are your thoughts? I'd still go Munoz and bench Castagna. I don't think avoiding Munoz just because it causes a benching headache this 1 week is a good enough reason to not go for Munoz. Because I just think over the next 8 to 10 games, I really, really like him as an option. So yeah, I would still go for Munoz. You could also go for Henderson as well. Or if you just have a really good feeling about Castagna and you really don't want to bench him this week, then maybe you just go Henderson. And you could look to bring in Munoz in Game Week 21 because he's got Leicester in Game Week 21, hasn't he? So Bilal says, hi, Ross, love the streams. What striker should I bring in out of Havertz, Jackson, Watkins? Do you think Jackson will start? Thanks. I don't know if Jackson starts, but I think Jackson is clear of Havertz and Watkins in the long term. So I think considering you're not going to want to take these strikers in and bring them out and take them in I don't think you want to move around the forwards too much. I would just bring in Jackson. If he doesn't start, it's really sad, but he's still the best forward outside of Isak to own for me. If I had an easy route to Jackson this week, I would just bring in Jackson, I think. I don't, sadly. Because I'd either have to sell Cunha or I'd have to take a -4 hit and make 3 transfers, and I'd still be avoiding Munoz. So, yeah, I think if you're in a position to just bring in Jackson, I would do it still. If forced to use the wildcard, what would be your ideal team? I can't go through and do that right now on the stream, but I would have 3 Palace. I'd probably have Munoz, Sarr, and Mateta. I would have Rogers as a cheap midfielder because he's got really nice fixtures over the next few. I would have Isak in there. I would have probably Castagna in there. I would have Trent and Gabriel. I would probably have Henderson or Sells or probably Pickford in goal because he's got that upcoming double game week. That should get you like 8 to 10 of your players sorted there. And then just fill in the gaps based on your own team value and players that you want to take a punt on. I think the non-negotiables would be Trent, Gabriel, 2 or 3 Palace, Castagna looks really good value, Isak, and then outside of that, obviously Salah and Palmer. Sorry, I should note that they would be in there. Outside of that, I think you can go pretty much wherever you want. Bench boost of Valdemarsson, Rogers, Pedro, and Colwell. Not for me. Not for me. Valdemarsson's going to concede, so you've lost anything you'll gain there. Rogers, apart from that one game, hasn't shown much haul ability. Pedro's in a really bad run of form, and so are Brighton. And Cole's probably looking at a maximum 6 points in most weeks. So yeah, I probably wouldn't do it, Ethan. But if you've got a good feeling about it, go for it. Mbomo to Gordon or Enzo to Rogers? I prefer Mbomo to Gordon, I think, there. Mbomo to Gordon, I'd probably go. Oh no, I've lost where I was. Here you go. Kieran says, my team is currently Flecken, Gabriel, Trent, Munoz, Kirkez, Vandenberg, Semenyo, Enzo, Erdegaard, Salah, Palmer, Isak, Jackson, João Pedro. Who do I bench? In the defence, you bench Kirkez and Vandenberg, and in the attack, you bench Semenyo. There you go. Nice and easy. Love it when there's an easy decision. Dennis says, my team is Verbruggen, Trent, Aina, Gabriel, Rogers, Ahmad, Palmer, Salah, Isak, Pedro, and Cunha. Bench 8 Nuri, Wan-Bissaka, and Bruno. 1 free transfer. Would you do Fabianski to Henderson or Wan-Bissaka to Robinson/Munoz? Thoughts on Pedro, sell Ahmad? Yeah, you've got a couple of things you could be sorting out in future weeks. I would probably be selling 8 Nuri to Munoz in your position there. I think, or Wan-Bissaka. Maybe Wan-Bissaka actually, because 8 Nuri is a little bit more attacking. But yeah, I would sell one of 8 Nuri or Wan-Bissaka to Daniel Munoz. Attack the Palace fixtures. Gives you a slightly stronger bench. The only concern is you'd then probably have to bench Ahmad. I don't think I'd want to bench Ola Aina. So I would probably play a back 4 then if you make that move, Dennis, of Trent, Aina, Gabriel, and Munoz. Cool. How long got to the deadline? 1 hour and 20 minutes until the deadline. Plenty of time. This is not my final team, by the way. I'm probably going to make a couple of transfers. How do you feel about Palmer captaincy? It really comes down to how much do Chelsea rotate, because if it's Nkunku starting rather than Jackson, I think that's a real downgrade for Palmer in terms of players around him. Is Palmer going to get 90 minutes? Could this be a good opportunity if they're 2 or 3 up to give Palmer a 20-minute rest at the end of the game? Is Enzo going to get 90? Because I think part of the reason that Palmer has been so good in recent weeks and across this season is I think Enzo has been really, really good playing alongside him. He's got that same ability to attack, so he's really nice sort of little passes and little combinations they play, but he's also defensively very solid, where it means that Palmer doesn't have to do as much tracking back. So if Chelsea don't rotate, and you are of the opinion that Chelsea go full strength, I would argue that Palmer might even be a better option than Salah, but I just don't know that, and that is the thing that's put me off slightly. Isak says, and I assume this is the Isak, so welcome, Alexander Isak. Thank you for watching my stream. Says, thoughts on Gabriel and João Pedro to Munoz and Mateta? No, not in a million years. I wouldn't sell Gabriel, even if it meant that I got an extra 2 million as a result of selling him. I just think he's the best defender in the game. So no, I wouldn't do that move personally. I think Timber is nailed for the foreseeable future. I think even when Ben White's back, they'll push Timber out to the left. And I even think that if they don't want to do that, I still think Timber is first choice ahead of White now. He's been so good. I would argue Timber is a better right back than Ben White. And I don't know that a lot of Arsenal fans would disagree with that. Kinger has been a member for 28 months. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Defense is Gabriel, Kirkes, Colwill, Castagna, Greaves. Okay. Is it worth a -4 to go Greaves to Munoz? Feels like too much invested in the defense and can get him in 21. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do it in your case, Blicky94, because you've got Gabriel, Kirkes, Colwill, and Castagna. You've got 4 really good defenders this week. I think you can wait until 21 in your position. Fuel Your Grind says, thank you for your help. Bench Hall/Anderson. I'd bench Anderson. And João Pedro/Enzo. I'd probably bench João Pedro. Start one of João Pedro, Mbermo, Robinson, and Hall. I'd start one of your penalty takers, probably Mbermo, but I'd start one of the penalty takers out of JP and Mbermo, Kumar. Luke says, hi Ross, what are your best picks for baseline bonus points? We can quickly look at that, actually. You can have a look on Fantasy Football Hub, by the way. There is a link down below in the description to get 30% off, but also I still think that 30-day free trial is happening. So there is a link down below if you want to get access to loads of stats, player comparisons, fixture analyzer, all of that lovely stuff. Get it whilst you have the 30-day free trial. It might be that you just don't like it, in which case you can cancel. Otherwise, you at least get the opportunity to try it out. If we look at baseline bonus per 90, high and low expected minutes players. Is this baseline bonus? No, that's just bonus. Where's FPL? I want baseline bonus. The highest baseline player bonus, Maddison, is top. Palmer's really good for baseline bonus. Saka, Ahmad is actually really good for baseline bonus as well. Enzo Fernandez, very high for baseline bonus. Foden's pretty high. It's often players that create a lot. Key passes are very good for bonus. Chances created, crosses, dribbles, fouls won. It's little players that dribble a lot and pass a lot and create a lot of chances are quite high up. Anyone that really... Enzo Fernandez, I like the fact that he's that high, as per Ahmad as well. Those 2 cheap options. Maybe there's no one else that stands out massively for baseline bonus. But yeah, you can go over to Fantasy Football Hub and just sort, go into FPL, and then the BBPS is baseline bonus points. So the player that is lowest for baseline bonus this season in the entire Premier League is Calvert-Lewin. Oh, that man. That man really has failed to deliver for many FPL managers. Hi Ross, have Saar, thinking of Pedro out / Gakpo in. Yeah, I don't mind that. I'd probably just keep João Pedro. I'm not sure that Gakpo is a massive upgrade, but if you've got a good feeling, go for it. Izzy Gaming says, last one, Munoz for a hit, start him over Pedro. I wouldn't take a hit to start Munoz over Pedro. No, I just keep Pedro. But I do really like the idea of owning Munoz, but taking a -4 hit to bench a penalty taker, I'm less keen. B. Hendry says, Happy New Year, mate. Will you be out in Nottingham? I'll be out in Birmingham on New... I won't be out. I'll be round one of Pickle's friends on New Year's Eve in Birmingham. So no, I won't be out in Nottingham, sadly. Thoughts on Saka and Lewis to Gordon and Trent? Love it. Get it done. Assuming that's for free. If it's free hit, less keen as always. But if it's for free, that feels very easy. Have Saliba and Gabriel and already currently top 100k. Beautiful. Yeah, really good position to be in, mate. And a Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. By the way, if you are enjoying today, this morning, if you're enjoying this stream, please could you smash that like button and make sure to subscribe as well. I do really appreciate it. I might make my transfers in a minute, or do I wait? I hate the idea of making transfers and then regretting it because we get news. But what news am I waiting for that might affect my decision? Are we likely to get Crystal Palace early team news? Maybe it's worth waiting. Crystal Palace do play today at 3 p.m. I suppose there's a very small chance we find out something, but maybe it's worth waiting. Any Flecken news? Sounds like he's out, but I don't know. Do I do a -4 for Pickford or risk it? I'd probably sell him anyway. Like, he's not got good fixtures anyway. So I'd probably sell Fleckham. -4 for Pickford seems fine. Pickford's got the double coming up. Everton are great defensively. I don't hate that at all. I also do still really like Dean Henderson as well. Monk says, Timber to Munoz or Semenyo to Eze / Sarr. I like Eze. Timber to Munoz or Semenyo to Eze / Sarr. Ooh, Semenyo to Eze is nice if you like Eze. Yeah, I'd probably sell Semenyo and I'd keep Timber for a couple more. Hello, Ross. Start Aina, Rodgers or João Pedro? Ooh, that's a very tough one. I'd probably still start Rodgers there, Ewan. I'm 2.7 million rank. Would you captain Palmer in my position? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I probably would, Dave. Yeah, you've got to differentiate somewhere if you want to start clawing the rank back. And I think this is a decent week to do it. Josh says, good morning, Ross. Bench one of Semenyo, Rodgers or João Pedro. I'd probably bench Semenyo there, Josh. I think Fulham are really good. And I think João Pedro's on pens. Rodgers is probably the best in terms of he's got a nice home fixture. I'd probably bench Semenyo. Ido or LDO or IDO says, hey, I need your help. Best midfielders to switch Bowen in my team. Gordon, Martinelli, Eze or Sarr. And should I do Munoz in for Joe Gomez for a -4? I probably wouldn't do the Munoz transfer for a -4. Just about. I probably would leave it. In terms of the midfielders, I think all 4 of the ones you've listed are amazing. I would probably have them as Gordon, Sarr, Eze, Martinelli. But I really like Anthony Gordon. He'd be my pick of the bunch in midfield. I've been speaking about Gordon for a few weeks, by the way. If you run it back like 4 weeks on my game week preview, I had Gordon as my top midfielder to bring in. So it's not necessarily recency bias. I've been saying for a while now, when Gordon hits that run of form and he starts to score and take shots and looks more confident, he's on set pieces as well. It takes a lot of corners for them. I think Gordon's a great option. EM says, Happy New Year, good sir. Happy New Year to you. I'm currently in the top 10,500 overall. Almost top 10k. Wow. Thanks to your guidance. My partner and I love watching your streams. That is amazing. Big shout out to you and your partner. And well done on the fantastic rank as well. That's crazy. There's so many people that are ranked really high that watch these streams and videos. And I take absolutely zero credit for that. But thank you for the kind words. Ross, Gakpo punt for João Pedro. I think I just would keep João Pedro. I mean, I'm probably going to sell João Pedro to Mateta. Gakpo's just a risk, right? He started the last 5, I think, for Liverpool. But he won't continue starting every single game. And you just don't know when that benching's coming. At least with João Pedro, he's pretty nailed on. But Gakpo is playing incredibly well. Like, would I be massively surprised to see Diaz start on the left and Jota start as the 9 in this game? I wouldn't be that massively surprised. So we've just seen in the recent game what happens with the Liverpool attackers. Loads of people load up on Jota and Diaz and all of a sudden they miss out. So I probably wouldn't make the move. But if you've got a good feeling, I don't want to go against your gut feeling. Marcus says, love your work, Ross. Thank you, Marcus. Would you go 4-4-2 by dropping João Pedro? Okay. Start Jackson and Isak and start which 4 are Robinson, Hall, Trent, Gabriel, Munoz? Yeah, I'll tell you what, if that's your back line, you could absolutely bench João Pedro. I think the 3 defenders that you have to start are Trent, Gabriel, Munoz. So what it comes down to is, would you rather start João Pedro or Robinson or Hall? If it were my team, I would still play a 3-5-2, and a 3-4-3, and I would bench your 2 defenders, Robinson and Hall. But if you just don't really fancy João Pedro starting this week, yeah, maybe. I'd probably start Hall instead of Robinson. So hopefully that helps, Marcus. But yeah, definitely the 3 defenders you have to start are Trent, Gabriel, Munoz. Scan Legend says start 2, Rodgers, Mbeumo, Pedro. I'd start Rodgers and Mbeumo and bench Pedro. I'm just trying to get everyone to sell and bench João Pedro with me because I know that he's going to cause pain. Listen, João Pedro is still a fine option. Just because he's blanked in a few games doesn't mean that he's no longer a good option. A lot of the stuff that we said is great about him still applies. He's still on penalties, still has good minutes, still playing in a Brighton team that can score goals, and the goals will come at some point. Hi Ross, defensive Gabriel, Robinson, Trent, Greaves, Mazraoui. 1 free transfer, 0.7 in the bank. What are your thoughts? I'd be tempted to sell Mazraoui for Munoz. In fact, I think if that was my team, that's probably the move I'd make. Mazraoui to Munoz. And then sadly, it means you have to either bench Robinson or play 4 at the back. Flexbox says, hope you had a nice Christmas. Mbeumo to Gordon. I had a lovely Christmas, thank you. And yes, I would probably be happy to do Mbeumo to Gordon. Hi Ross, Ahmad or Rodgers is a big headache for me. I'd start Rodgers. I think Aston Villa are a slightly better team than Manchester United. In fact, probably quite a bit better. I probably prefer the fixture for Rodgers as well. And I just think Manchester United are struggling. Without Bruno and without Ugarte, I think it could be quite painful for that Manchester United team. Start Robinson or Rodgers? I'd start Rodgers. Yeah, I'd start Rodgers. Most of the time, I would back the attackers. Replacements for either Ryan Aït-Nouri, Semenyo, or Wissa, 1 free transfer. Ryan Aït-Nouri to Munoz or Semenyo to Sarr are probably the 2 that I would do. I'd probably hold on to Wissa. Toby Wilson says, even Ilson to Solanke/Jackson/Mateta or play Enzo. I'd just play Enzo. I'd play Enzo. Out of those 3 options, I'd probably prefer Jackson the most, then Mateta, then Solanke. Adam D says, I have Haaland, Salah, and Palmer as captaincy options. Everyone's in my mini... Oh, I just clicked off the chat. Sorry about that. I have Haaland, Salah, and Palmer as captaincy options. Everyone in my mini league has taken him out. Also, I'm number 1. You think I should risk it in captain Haaland? They will go Palmer or Salah. If I owned Haaland, I'd captain Haaland this week. Absolutely. He's got Leicester. And the thing is, right, I don't know when Man City will turn it around, if at all. Man City could continue to do really poorly and finish like 12th in the table, right? I don't think that will happen. Pep is a fantastic manager and the players are still very talented. And Haaland is still one of the best goal scorers we've seen in Premier League history. Leicester is an incredibly good fixture. If you look at the bookies' odds, Haaland's still right up there to score the most goals. I think I would captain Haaland if I had him. But at the same time, Haaland is now such a differential that just owning Haaland can gain you a lot of rank because no one else has him. So it depends on your risk appetite because so many people are going to captain Palmer and Salah, aren't they? Colwell or Robinson, who should I start? I'd be tempted to start Robinson for the attacking threat. I think they both have a chance for a clean sheet. Colwell's got a slightly higher chance for a clean sheet. Robinson has more of a chance for an attacking return. So it depends what's more important to you, I guess. Speedinho says, hi Ross, hope you are well. I'm doing wonderful, thank you. I have 1 free transfer. Should I do Bruno to Gordon or roll? Oh, I mean, I'm keeping Bruno, but I am also very tempted to do Bruno to Gordon. I just think I like Bruno long term, but I think Gordon's fantastic. I'd need to see the rest of your team. I'd need to know about your transfer plans moving forward. I'd need to know what you think of Bruno as an asset. I need to think about all of those things. But in isolation, Bruno to Gordon is an excellent transfer, and I don't mind it. Frosty says, I have 1 free transfer. Tempted to do Greaves to Munoz and bench boost would be Valdemars and Amaz, Munoz, Castagna. Not ideal for Valdemars, but would be a fun way to end 2024. Frosty, you know how to make these decisions, but I like that bench. My only concern would be, is there anyone in your 15 that might miss out? Like, of those bench players, I don't see it, but do you have anyone in your team that you're like you've got, do you have Jackson? I can't remember Frosty, but there's a chance Jackson plays 0 minutes because that's what happened last time there was a midweek game. I would just worry that this time of year with injuries, rotation, lots of minutes fatigue, it could be that you get a random player that doesn't play. But if you're pretty confident all 15 start, then I'd be happy to bench boost it. Who's the best cheap backup keeper, Ross? Fabianski or just 3.9 Valdemars that might not play besides this game week? It's probably still Fabianski. It is. In game week 29, there's going to be a blank game week. So I would maybe be thinking about that. Maybe someone like Jose Sarr, actually. Let me just Game Week 29. So Game Week 29 is going to be a blank. Arsenal, Chelsea's looking quite likely to be a blank, plus Aston Villa, Liverpool. We might be without both of these games in Game Week 29. And listen, you might potentially free hit anyway. But Jose Sarr is against Southampton. You've got Fabianski against Everton. If he's still the number one at that point, it might be that Areola keeps the shirt. Or Valdemarsen's got Bournemouth away, which isn't awful. But I would just be thinking about a possible goalkeeper for Game Week 29 because most people probably have Sanchez, Raya, Alisson, and therefore, as a result, you might not be sat there with a goalkeeper in 29 if you decide not to free hit, of course. So that's something. And again, it's very far in the future. You might have even wildcarded by then, who knows? But I think Game Week 30 wildcard feels very likely. So if Game Week 30 wildcard is quite likely, I don't know that people want a free hit just before a wildcard. I think what the popular strategy will be, without getting too nerdy on chip strategy, is dead end into blank Game Week 29. So use your transfers to dead end into 29 and wildcard out of that into 30. So that's something to think about. Yeah, I think Jackson starts as well for what it's worth, Frosty, but I said that last time there was a midweek game. Do you remember it? Because Jackson had a really early sub. Jackson came off in like the 65th minute or something like that. And we were like, there's no way he starts in Nkunku because why otherwise would he have subbed off Jackson? He not only started in Nkunku, but then Jackson played 0 minutes. So there's no definitive way, I think, to predict with Maresca here. I have Cunha captaincy. I'm a Spurs fan. I don't blame you, to be honest, mate. I don't blame you. Cunha's not a bad captaincy shout. My only thing I would say is in the 2 games under Vitor Pereira, Cunha's played much deeper. He's not as close to goal. He's playing, especially against Manchester United. Honestly, Cunha was playing like a number 8 or a number 6 at points. He was sitting really deep, spraying passes, going on some like mazy runs. But Cunha wasn't playing as a 10 against Manchester United. So yeah. Hi, Ross. Love your streams. Thank you, Agnabar. Agnabar, probably butchered your name. I do apologise. My team is Flecken, Trent, Gabriel, Robinson, Kirkes, Greaves, Salah Palmer, Bruno, Ahmad, Dibbling, Isak, Jackson, and Rao. Nice team. 1 free transfer, 1.6 in the bank. Whom to bench in this situation and what could be the transfers? I think you want to either do you know what? I wouldn't mind Dibbling to Sarr and then bench Raul Jimenez. Yeah, I'd probably do Dibbling to Sarr and bench Raul Jimenez from your attackers. And then with the defence, I think you start Trent, Gabriel, and Robinson and bench Kirkes and Greaves. So yeah, that's what I would do. I'd bring in a Crystal Palace midfielder for Dibbling. Or you could sell Ahmad and move up to Eze if you prefer Eze to Sarr. But yeah, it's a really nice team. Really nice team. That would be what I would do with that team. Who would you bench? Rodgers, Enzo, or João Pedro? It would probably be João Pedro, personally. But I'm probably selling him, so maybe I'm a little bit biased against him. João Pedro to Watkins instead of Mateta. For the next 2, I think Watkins will be one of the top scoring forwards in FPL. I think he's going to do very well. But beyond that, I think Duran comes back in. And if Duran doesn't come back in, Watkins still isn't playing more than 60, 65, you wouldn't imagine. Very clearly, Duran was first choice before that red card. So unless you think that Emery's going to punish him, he'll probably go back to being first choice still. And it's too much money to spend for a player that has reduced minutes. And the thing is, after the Brighton and Leicester games, it's not the best fixtures anyway, even if he is still starting. So yeah, for the next 2, I like it, but not much beyond that. Trina says, hi Ross, I'm on a wildcard with Henderson, Robinson, Gabriel, Salah Palmer, Gordon, Sarr, Jackson, Isak and Cunha. Lovely team. Pickford, Rodgers, Hall, Kirkes on the bench. Would you make any changes? Oh, God, that's such a good... I'm so jealous of people that still have their wildcard. Would I make any changes, right? You've got Pickford for the double. You've got Salah Palmer in there. Gordon's great. Sarr, Jackson. I think the only change I would make is I would want Munoz in there. Even if you've got Henderson, I'd still want Munoz. So I would probably have Munoz instead of Hall or Kirkes. And I would start him instead of Robinson this week. That's the only change I'd make, Trina. But other than that, it's a really nice wildcard team. So I'll give it like a 9.9 out of 10. Play 3 of Kirkes, Robinson, Robertson, Lewis, Munoz. I would play Munoz, Robertson, and Robinson. And I would bench Kirkes and Lewis. Would I play Lewis instead of Robinson? I would play Munoz, Robertson and Lewis, actually. And I'd bench Robinson and Kirkes. Hopefully that helps Lewis. M7 says, what about Crystal Palace double attack? Mateta and Sarr for a -4. My overall rank is 3 million. Yeah, if you're chasing a little bit, you're not happy with your overall rank. Mateta and Sarr in for a -4 to attack the Southampton game. I don't mind that at all. Hey, Ross, Merry Christmas to you and yours, and much love. Much love to you as well. Bowen out for free to Eze/Sarr, Luis Diaz, Gordon or Foden. I can't decide. No hits. Rank is 124k. Great, you're ranked very well for this point of the season. I still think it's Gordon for me, then Sarr, then Eze, then Foden, then Luis Diaz. So I think I would go Gordon or a Palace attacker, I think. So Gordon or Sarr, I'll narrow it down for you. I would probably go for Anthony Gordon. The Italian Stallion says, I bought Watkins, has a good record versus Brighton, and I bought Munoz. Very nice. Thoughts? Yeah, good. You've already bought them, so I'm not gonna tell you not to do it. But yeah, I think Watkins for the next two could go massive. Do you remember, was it last season when Watkins did he get 4 goals? He got over 20 points, didn't he? Like 23 points against Brighton, I think. If I'm remembering correctly. I might have completely misremembered that. And by the way, who should I bench, Ahmad or Enzo? I would bench Ahmad and start Enzo, probably. I know you've got Palmer and Colwell, but I'd go all in, probably. Enzo's just... Chelsea are just ticking at the moment, and Manchester United aren't. I know they lost to Fulham, but I still think they were unlucky not to score more goals in that game. So yeah, I would probably start Enzo ahead of Ahmad. Hi Ross, would you do a -4 for Eva Nilsson to Mateta? Already have Sarr and the rest of the team looking okay, but scared he scores a brace, so really considering. I don't think I would take a -4 to buy Mateta, no. I'm probably going to buy Mateta this week, but I'm not that hopeful that he's going to get more than maybe one return. It's more for the long term, so probably wouldn't take a -4, no. Bench one of Enzo, Rogers or João Pedro. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Jonas. Jonas or Jonas? Not sure. Let's go Jonas. I would probably bench João Pedro just about. But he is the only one on penalties out of the 3. So I'll leave that decision with you. Do I sell Bowen for a -4? Probably not, no. Play Milenkovic or Gusto. I'd play Milenkovic ahead of Gusto, probably. Great from corners. Got a really good clean sheet chance. Yeah, I'd probably play Milenkovic. We've got 1 hour till the deadline. Frosty says, rotation aside, I'm leaning towards the bench boost because I've still got the assistant manager chip, triple captain, and free hit to play. Not ideal, but 1 less chip to worry about. Means no need to spend on the bench at any potential detriment to the assistant manager chip. Frosty, all I would do, and I'm sure you've done this anyway, just look ahead between now and like game week 24. Is there a week between now and 24 where your bench might be slightly stronger? If not, then play it. But it might be, I've not looked, but it might be like 21 or 22. Valdemarsen's got a... I guess you're not going to have Valdemarsen, though, are you, at that stage? Probably. Yeah, maybe you just go for it. Maybe you just go for it. I'm always hesitant with, like, around this time of year playing the bench boost, but it's something that could work out quite well. Are you making any transfers, Ross? Yeah, I'm probably making 2. It's probably Lewis to Munoz and João Pedro to Mateta. Happy New Year, Ross. Start Enzo, Kirkes or 8 Nuri. Thank you very much. I would probably start Enzo from the 3 of those. Then Kirkes, then 8 Nuri. Started 3 weeks late. Best tip for catching 8 million rank right now. Just have fun with it. Just have fun with it. In terms of catching up, because you're 8 million and you started 3 weeks late, you don't really need to differentiate because where you are ranked right now, a lot of the teams around you probably aren't particularly engaged. So just by owning a good team, you're very likely to catch up. So I would say have fun with the game and just pick players that you think will score points. If you start to get to a point when you're like approaching the top 1 million, then at that stage you might want to think about differentiating. But right now, just pick good players. As silly as and simple as that sounds, that would be my strategy. Captaining Longstaff, wish me luck. Hope he doesn't feature. Oh, I remember Connor. Yeah, best of luck. Best of luck on that. I'm at the Manchester United Newcastle game, so I'll be hoping that he doesn't play at all. Rogers or Timber to start? I would marginally play Rogers. Oh no, my foot is... Oh no, there's a wire. Everything's tangled down here. One sec. I'm all tangled up. Oh no. Oh god, I've headbutted the microphone. Ow. That probably hurt your ears and my face. I've got like a little footrest that I put my feet on because it helps my back, and it was all tangled around the wire. Did that destroy your ears? Me headbutting the microphone. I'm sorry if it did. JK17 says, "Hi Ross, just on a footballing level, how good is Cunha and where's he ceiling? Football has changed and we don't get players like him anymore. Would be class for you lot. Answer after the deadline if needed." I'll answer that right now, mate. Firstly, thank you for the wonderful super chat. Insane. I think Cunha is top 5 players in the Premier League right now. And if we're going on overall talent and ability to do what he does, he's got to be one of the best players in the Premier League. And that's not recency bias. Like, he dribbles, he can carry the ball. His fitness is really, really good as well. Like, he's sprinting up and down the pitch. His set piece delivery is fantastic. He's got a good penalty record. He can pass the ball. He can score long shots. He can score one-on-ones. Like, what is Cunha missing? I have absolutely no idea. I would go as far as saying if Manchester United could sign one player to play that number 10 role under Amorim in world football, I'd pick Cunha. He's so good. The only concern is he's obviously got a bit of an ego attitude problem. You can tell that on the pitch as well. You can tell that on the pitch. Like, he thinks he's better than everyone else because he is, by the way, in that Wolves team. But I don't know. Like, even the thing that he did after the game, like elbowing someone in the back of the head, ripping the glasses off the face, I just think he's got a very... I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that he's passionate and he wants to win, but there's just something where I'm like, you could see him signing for Manchester United and then causing problems in the dressing room. And the narrative would be Manchester United have signed another player that just wants to join Real Madrid and doesn't have that good attitude. And that's the thing. Like, you know that eventually Cunha wants to join Real Madrid, probably, or Barcelona. So I'd love him, but he's never going to sign for Manchester United, I'm afraid. I think he wants to move to either... He'd want to move to someone like an Arsenal or a Liverpool, or he'll move abroad, I think. Where was I? Here we go. Thanks for your advice. Would you then rather do Timber to Munoz or rock the double defence with Gabriel? I think I'd rock the double defence, although I would prefer Munoz. If it's for free, I actually don't mind Timber to Munoz. I'm going to go out there and say that I don't mind that. If it's for a hit, definitely not. Canty says, would you start Hall or Aït-Nouri this week? Definitely Hall. Yeah, no, I would start Lewis Hall. But if you've got... It feels like from your message, Canty, you've got a bit of a gut feeling that Aït-Nouri is the better one to start. With benching decisions, trust your gut feeling. But I would start Lewis Hall ahead of Aït-Nouri. I think Tottenham are a better attack than Man United. I think Newcastle are a better defence than Wolves. And I think Lewis Hall's on set pieces, which is a massive advantage. Marcus says, overall rank 1,405. That's insane. 2.9 million in the bank. 1 free transfer. I have Sanchez, Robinson, Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, Aït-Nouri, Palmer, Salah, Martinelli, Ahmad, Semenyo, Jackson, Isak, João Pedro. What to do? What to do is you just love life. It's a great team. It's a great rank. What could you do with this team? Semenyo to Sarr or João Pedro to Mateta? They're the two things that I'm considering with a similar-ish team. Other than that, you don't really need to do much more. You've got a great defence. You've got a great bench. You could conceivably roll that very, very easily. But I think a Crystal Palace attacker is the only thing that you're missing there. Bruno / Duran, 0.0 in the bank. 1 free transfer. Your midfield, Isak, Pedro, help. Well, Bruno to Gordon is probably a move I'd make if you need it. Bruno to Gordon. Or Duran to... Oh, have you got anyone at that cheaper price that I'd be interested in for 0 in the bank? Probably not. I'd probably do Bruno to Gordon and just give yourself a little bit of a stronger team. Bench 1 of Mikalenko, Robinson, Ahmad. Timber to Munoz, 1 free transfer. Yeah, I don't mind the Timber to Munoz move. I'd probably bench Robinson from those players there. James says, Munoz in for Rico Lewis or Watkins in for João Pedro? Munoz in for Rico Lewis or Watkins in for João Pedro? I'd probably go Munoz in for Rico Lewis and keep João Pedro. I just think Watkins is a short-term punt and Munoz is a long-term one. So I'd probably favour Munoz. And also, I think the entry point is slightly better for Munoz. Already have Isak and Jackson as strikers. Already have Arsenal defence and Robinson. Yeah, I mean, it's not great benching Robinson this week. I'm going to have to do a similar thing, but I think Munoz, James. João Pedro to Solanke, Smith Rowe to Sarr. Yeah, beautiful. I don't necessarily think you need the João Pedro to Solanke move. I think João Pedro is equally as good as Solanke. Smith Rowe to Sarr feels very easy. I'd be happy doing that. Kaya says, what are your thoughts on my team? Alisson, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Colwill, Enzo, Palmer, Sarr, Salah, Gordon, Isak, Gabriel Jesus, and a bench of João Pedro, Fabianski, Timber. Next game week, Colwill to Daniel Munoz. I wouldn't do that next week, to be honest. I'd do that in 21. And João Pedro to Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, it's a really nice team. Double Liverpool defence, Gabriel. I still think Colwill's a fine, cheap shout. I'd be tempted to keep him. Nice midfield. Got Gordon, Isak, Sarr. Honestly, Kai, that's a top team. Top team. Bench 2 of Robertson, Kirkes, Hall, Rogers, and Cunha. Robertson, Kirkes, Hall, Rogers, and Cunha. You can't bench Cunha. You can't bench Rogers. I'd probably start Hall. Let's start Robertson. I would probably bench Kirkes and Hall and start Robertson, Rogers, and Cunha. If you think there's a chance Tsimikas starts, then maybe you start Hall instead of Robertson. But I'd definitely start your 2 attackers. I do think we're going to start to see more and more over the coming weeks people playing 4 at the back, because a lot of people have Trent and Gabriel, and then they're going to have something like Robinson and Munoz or Timber and Munoz, and it's going to be like, oh, I've got 4 good defenders. So I do think we'll start to see that more and more, 4 at the back. If you are enjoying the stream, by the way, thank you for being here. Can I please ask you to smash that like button? We're only 200 likes away from 1,000. There are definitely 200 of you watching right now that haven't liked, so please drop a like, but make sure to subscribe as well. It means a lot. Are we at 142,000 yet? Oh, we've hit it anyway. We've already hit my goal for this stream, but if you haven't subscribed, yeah, please do consider subscribing. I'd appreciate that a lot. Tyler Joseph says, hi Ross, who should I sell? Martinelli, João Pedro, or Lewis? Who should you sell? I wouldn't sell Martinelli. I'd sell Lewis first, I think. Yeah, probably Lewis to Munoz. I think if you've got Lewis, he's playing against Leicester. He's going to play an advanced role. There's a very good chance that Rico Lewis just absolutely smashes against Leicester. But I think Munoz is a safe long-term option to bring in for him. And because he's served that suspension now as well, it's good. You don't have that risk of bringing in a player that might get suspended. George with the super chat. Thank you very much, George. He says, start João Pedro / Rogers or take a -4 to sell João Pedro to Mateta and bench Rogers. I wouldn't take the -4, I don't think. I mean, I'm going to do it, but it's for free. And I would probably start Rogers ahead of João Pedro. I back... It's not necessarily that I think Rogers is a better asset than João Pedro. It's more so that I back Villa over Brighton. That's kind of the way that I'm viewing it. I think Villa will do better than Brighton in this game. So I would rather back the attacker from the team I think will do better. Matt says, hope you had a good Christmas, Ross. Thank you very much, Matt. Bench 1 of Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, Milenkovic, Rogers, or Jota. Ooh, okay. I would go... Well, you can't bench any of the first 3. It's probably... Oh, wow, that's actually a tough one. I don't think you can bench Trent, Gabriel, or Munoz. I wouldn't want to bench Rogers. It's probably Milenkovic or Jota. My heart tells me that Jota doesn't start this game. So maybe the answer is Jota. But if you bench Jota and he starts against West Ham, that's an awful decision. It's going to come down to whether you think Jota starts. If you think Jota starts, bench Milenkovic. If you think Jota's on the bench, then start Milenkovic and bench Jota. That's a really tough decision. Now, I would probably bench Milenkovic and risk the fact that Jota might start. Are we sleeping on Eze? So many routes to points. He's sharing set pieces with Will Hughes, and once Wharton's back, he shares set pieces with Wharton. He's not 100% on penalties. He's at the very best situation is that he shares them with Mateta. I'm not actually sure that Eze has as many routes to points as you think. Share of set pieces, share of penalties, but there are so many players out there that have all set pieces and or all penalties. So I don't dislike Eze, but I don't think there's as many routes to points as we think. I just think Sarr is performing at such a high level, but I have no issue with bringing in Eze. JM, good to see you as always, my friend. Says, hey, bud, playing a midfield of Salah, Palmer, Gordon, and Ahmad. Very nice. Should I play Enzo instead of Ahmad? How much time do I give to Trent before transferring out? You give Trent until the double game week, I think, which is 25. We're expecting it to be now. So I just don't think you can sell Trent before a double game week. And they've got a really nice upcoming run of fixtures. So keep Trent. In terms of Enzo versus Ahmad, I would start Enzo ahead of Ahmad, yeah. I would. I just don't think United are going to function particularly well in this game without Ugarte and Bruno. And Newcastle were in a really nice run of form. And if Ipswich defend the way I expect them to, and hopefully Enzo starts, Ipswich will block quite low. Enzo's going to have the ability to do a lot on the ball. So I think it's a good game for Enzo. Starting Burmo or Wissa, or Colwill, Munoz, Gabriel, Trent. I don't have a clue what that question is. Sorry, Joe. Starting Burmo or Wissa. Out of the two, I would start in Burmo ahead of Wissa because he's on penalties. But I would definitely start Munoz, Gabriel, and Trent ahead of Burmo and Wissa. I'd probably start in Burmo ahead of Colwill. Hopefully that helps. Krista and... Oh, sorry. Oh, no. My computer's going to start lagging out. My camera's going to start struggling. It was doing so well. Krista and Jeffrey says, thanks, Ross. Have Pickford, Gvardiol, Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, Dunk, Palmer, Mo, Sarr, Rogers, Semenyo, Jackson, Isak, and Wood. That is a lovely team. Please help me with my benching decisions. Rogers, Semenyo, and Dunk. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, probably. I mean, in your team, I probably would start 4 at the back. I think I probably would bench Lewis. Lewis Dunk would definitely get benched. It probably is Rogers and Semenyo. Yes, a lot. I mean, that is such a strong team. You probably are forcing yourself right now in this game week to play a 4 at the back. So yeah, it's probably exactly as you've got it, in the order you've got it as well. Rogers, Semenyo, Dunk. I think you've made the right decision there. Thank you for the super chat and the support. I appreciate it. Solanke, Pedro, and Wood. Yeah? 1 free transfer and fun. Should I get Isak? I would do Solanke to Isak in a heartbeat. Yeah. I don't know that it will definitely pay off this week, but Isak just is a better asset than Solanke by every definition. Solanke could outscore him this week, but longer term, I would be very surprised if Isak doesn't outscore Solanke. Liam, Matoma and Pedro out for Sarr and Wood. Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, if it's for free, Liam, if it's for a hit, I don't love it as much, but definitely for free. Bench Gabriel for Hall. No, you definitely start Gabriel ahead of Lewis Hall. Othman says, should I take a -4 for a Saka replacement? If so, Gordon, Sarr, Foden, or anyone better? I'd need to see the rest of your team. It depends who you're starting if you don't take the -4. It depends on what your future moves are. Do you need the funds? With all of that being said, I think all Gordon, Sarr, and Foden, all 3 of them are great options to bring in. I'd probably go Gordon, Sarr, Foden in that order. But yeah, I'd need to see so much more to help you with that decision. But I'd probably go Gordon. Is Flecken out? I think so. Pickford the best replacement. Probably in the long term, Pickford is. I think in the short term, Henderson might be a slightly better shout. But yeah, I have no issue with Pickford. They just keep clean sheets, even against difficult opposition. So on the captaincy poll, we've had over 6,000 votes. Salah is captained by 76%. Palmer 18%. Isak 3% and other 3%. So I think basically it's going to be similar to what we see last week where almost everyone owns and captains Salah, and then there are a few captaincies on Palmer. I do think that Palmer will be more heavily captained this week than last week, though. Adnan says, you missed my super chat. Let me have a look, Adnan. I probably have. Start Robinson / Rico Lewis or João Pedro. I'd probably say João Pedro, Lewis, Robinson in that order. There you go, Adnan. I'd start the attacker on penalties ahead of both those defenders. But yeah, Rico Lewis would probably be just marginally ahead of Robinson for me. Bob says, bench one of João Pedro, Semenyo, or Iwobi. Probably Semenyo. Maybe Iwobi. Not João Pedro out of those 3. Connell says, start Rogers or João Pedro. Lots of people with that decision. João Pedro is probably the better asset overall when he's on penalties. But I think in this game, I just back Villa to do a slightly better job. Predict which way you think the game will go. I think Aston Villa are likely to win this game, so I would back Rodgers slightly more. JK17 says, love Cunha. Cunha's a legend. I didn't love that he did that to my team on Boxing Day, but I love him. If I have 3 million, is Pickford still the move? You're saying if you have like 3 million in the bank, like you can bring in anyone. I think Alisson is probably slightly ahead of Pickford if you've got all of the money. My 3 keepers to own at the moment would be Alisson, Pickford, and Henderson. Those would be the 3 I'm choosing from. Start 2 of Rogers, João Pedro, Sarr. Probably Sarr and Rogers. Would you sell João Pedro for Cunha? No, because Cunha is going to be banned probably for Game Week 20. If not Game Week 20, it'll be Game Week 21. So Cunha, you're going to get a maximum of 2 games from Cunha. I'd probably just keep João Pedro. Would I bench Ahmad for Hall or Robinson? Probably not. I'd probably start Ahmad ahead of both of those. Kai says, I'm 1.2 million in my first year. First as Australia in England Comp 2. I'm a bit confused. Oh, there's a competition for Australians in England? Is that what you're saying? Bit confused by the message. I'm very sorry, Kai, but well done for your first year. Just use it as a learning experience as well. You'll pick up so much information and you'll be able to build on that year upon year. I'm still improving year upon year as a manager myself. You just learn little things that help you and little strategies and ways to approach the game, different methods for making decisions as well. So yeah, keep using it as a learning experience. Philip says Henderson, Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, Robinson, Castagna, Enzo, Salah, Palmer, Gordon, Onana, Isaac, Cunha, Jackson. Pick the team. I mean, you bench Onana, you bench Robinson and Castagna. There you go. Yeah, you bench your 2 Fulham defenders, and you bench Onana. I think that's nice and easy. Ben Story says, hi Ross, bench 2 of João Pedro, Ahmad, Mikalenko, Castagna. I think you bench the 2 defenders, Mikalenko and Castagna. Or do I sell João Pedro to Mateta or Watkins? Then the question would be bench 2 of Ahmad, Castagna or Mikalenko. You could sell João Pedro to Watkins or Mateta. I don't mind that at all. I'm probably going to do that myself. It would still be the same decision. I would still bench Castagna or Mikalenko. So I'll let you decide if you want to make that move. I'm probably going to make the move. But Castagna or Mikalenko in both cases would be the bench. MN Chuckster has just gifted 5 memberships. Sorry, my man. I've only just seen that. Have I still got... Okay. So Direct has been gifted a membership. Barnabas has been gifted a membership. Johnster has been gifted a membership. NSP has been gifted a membership. And so has Stom52. If you want to be able to receive gifted memberships, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. You are active in the chat. You have to have sent the chat message. And also make sure that you have gifted subs enabled on YouTube. You need to do those 3 things. If you want to, in the future, if anyone gifts subs, I'm not saying they will, but if they do and you want a gifted sub, then that's how you do it. Thank you very much, my man. It's very kind of you. Where was I? Othman says Pickford, Hall, Timber, Trent, Cole, Vandenberg, Iwobi, Ahmad, Mo, Palmer, Saka, Isaac, and Nicholas Jackson. Should I take that -4 for a Saka replacement? Okay, you've given me your team. Iwobi, Ahmad, Mo, Palmer, Saka, Isaac. No, yeah, probably. Probably. Or you could do Vandenberg to Munoz and play 4 at the back. I mean, you could play 4 at the back anyway, couldn't you? I would either do Vandenberg to Munoz or Saka to Gordon, Othman, and I would probably do both of them for a -4. I just think it'll improve your team overall. Polksidem says, hi Ross, start Luis Diaz or João Pedro. I'd probably start Luis Diaz and hope that he starts. I think he should start, to be honest. So yeah, I'd probably go that way. Start 2 of Robinson/Timber and Gabriel. And Ahmad/Semenyo. I would go Timber ahead of Robinson and I would go Ahmad ahead of Semenyo. So Timber and Ahmad. Bainesy 1990 says -4 for Pickford and Cunha, taking out Flecken and Wood. No. I'd keep Wood. I'd do Flecken to Pickford for free and leave it there. Like I said, Cunha's going to pick up a ban in the next few weeks, so I don't think I'll have Cunha for next week, sadly. So I wouldn't be bringing him in. Ross, play 1 of Robinson, Semenyo, João Pedro. João Pedro, probably. Probably João Pedro there. Is Flecken injured? Yeah, I think so. Oh, bench Wood or Matoma? I'd bench Matoma and start Wood. Bench Ahmad, João Pedro or Enzo? Ooh, probably Ahmad just about there, I'd say. Would you sell Rodgers to Sarr? Probably not. I'd probably ideally like to sell someone other than Rodgers. I actually don't think Rodgers is a bad player to keep for the next few. He's got Leicester in game week 20. And in game week 20, our teams are probably going to look pretty rough. Like, there's a lot of players with tricky fixtures. Like, if I show you right this second, without having made any transfers, of course, if I go over to Fantasy Football Hub, and I'll go 1 game week. If I don't make a transfer, like in game week 20, João Pedro's got Arsenal. Enzo's got Crystal Palace away. It's not a great fixture. Manchester United have Liverpool away. There are other fixtures as well, like West Ham have Man City away if you've got like someone like a Jared Bowen. lots of players have pretty tricky fixtures in 20. And so for you to have Rodgers against Leicester at home, it's a really nice fixture. Now, the only concern, and I think a lot of people are overlooking this, is that Rodgers is on 4 yellows. If Rodgers gets booked this week, he'll miss the Leicester game, which would be an absolute nightmare. But I hope that he doesn't, and I would be keeping Morgan Rodgers. Man City away is a good fixture. That's true. It's true. Honestly, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. If you had both Flecken and the backup keeper like me, would you just start the backup keeper or use the situation to remove Flecken? I'd use the situation to remove Flecken, personally. I have no issue with Valdemarsson, and Flecken will keep clean sheets in the future, and he makes a lot of saves, but with the fixtures they've got, I probably would. I'd probably make the most of the situation and sell him. Douglas Max, good to see you, my friend. How are you? I'm doing very well, thanks, mate. Good to see you. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate. And I hope you have a wonderful New Year as well. Thank you for all of the support this year. You have been an absolute superstar. I can't thank you enough. But yeah, I hope you are well, my friend. Play Rodgers or... Sorry, play Semenyo or Castagna. I'd play Semenyo ahead of Castagna, I think. Well, unless you think Fulham keep a clean sheet, of course. They're playing against each other. Do we have any early City team news? I haven't seen any team news yet, but it is also pretty early. We've still got 35 minutes until the deadline. If we get City team news, it will be in about 15 minutes, I'd imagine. Hope you had a great Christmas, Ross. I did, thank you, Callum. Hope you did too. Start Robinson or Lewis? I'd start Lewis ahead of Robinson, I think. I like Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are a decent team. And you'd imagine Rico Lewis does start. Hello, sell Robinson for Munoz for free. No, I wouldn't. I'd sell someone else to get Munoz. I just think Robinson's really good. And like I said, next week, Robinson has Ipswich. And Munoz has Chelsea. So next week, you would just much rather have Munoz. So you'd much rather have Robinson than you would Munoz. The rotation actually works quite well between the two of them. Douglas Max with the biggest super chat I've ever seen. Back with a bang. What a there's not even a message. Just support. Just strap support. What a legend. Can't get over how insane that man is. Thank you so much, by the way, Max. I appreciate it. What a superstar. Wowzer. If you wonder why I was fumbling my words, that was why. I was watching that super chat come in. Ross, would you be able to do a quick wildcard for those doing it this week? I probably don't have time, sadly, because I want to answer everyone's questions, and a wildcard, to build a wildcard with a lot of thought would take too much time. All I would say, I'd have Munoz, Sarr, and Mateta. I'd have Isak. I'd have Salah and Palmer. I'd have Trent and Gabriel. I'd have Castagna. I'd have Alisson or Pickford. I'd probably still have Rodgers. There you go. I've given you like 11 players there, I think. Maybe 12. Pickle said, holy moly. Yeah, I know. Max is wild. Max is absolutely wild. Just speechless. You could just sit here being speechless for the rest of the stream. Start Ahmad or Enzo. I'd start Enzo personally. Douglas is to Raptor what JJ is to Andy. I don't need JJ. I've got Douglas. He's the real boy. He's the real boy. What a man. Can't believe Pedro didn't get a red card against Brentford. What do we think of the João Pedro red card? If you didn't see it, he was fighting off, I forgot who it was, one of the Brentford players, and he's flung his elbow back like that. And it's probably missed the Brentford player's face by a good, probably almost like half a metre. He's missed by a reasonable amount. But if it had connected with that guy's face, I mean, he would have broken his nose. That would have been, that's assault at that stage. That's... Yeah, sorry, it was Yarmouk, thank you. It was... Yeah, it was insane. I think it deserves a ban. I struggle to think why what Cunha did, which is elbow someone lightly in the back of the head and steal their glasses, is any worse than launching your elbow back at someone's face. He's just very lucky he missed. I've seen some people say that it was like a symbolic elbow, someone called it. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Apparently he was elbowing to like get him off. He wasn't. He just yeeted his elbow back at that guy's face. I don't know. For me, that's a red card. In fact, that's a big red card for me. I mean, I'm selling him anyway, so it's basically like he is red carded. But yeah, very lucky man, I think. Start Enzo or Guardiola? I'd start Enzo still. Roger, Semenyo or Sarr, bench one. I'd bench Semenyo. Start Colwell, Aina or Luca Dean. I would start Ola Aina. Hi, Ross. Palmer and Isak in for Haaland and Mbermo. I probably would, yeah. I probably would make those moves. But I also think you could captain Haaland this week as well. But yeah, I'd probably make the moves. Bench one of Martinelli, Jackson, Jesus or Iwobi. I'd bench Iwobi. The regular update on the family feud. My wife, Captain Haaland, enough said. Thor, you need to tell your wife to sell. Although she could probably captain Haaland again. God, it's getting intense though, that family feud. I feel like you're going to be sleeping outside at this rate, mate. Would you bench boost Enzo, Mikalenko, João Pedro, and any goalkeeper using one free transfer? Have Alisson and Fabianski. If not, when should we be looking to use it? So you could sell your goalkeeper and it would be Enzo, Mikalenko, and João Pedro. I would do that. I would actually do that. I would buy Henderson for Fabianski and bench boost. I'd do it. As long as your starting 11 all look likely to start. As long as you've not got flagged issues and players in the starting 11 that you're not sure are going to start. As long as they look good to start the 11, then I would absolutely just be bench boosting. It looks that is such a good bench boost. Especially if you chuck Henderson in there against Southampton at home and you've got the free transfer to do it. Where was I? Jake says, sale Mazraoui for Munoz to be bench Robinson. Yeah, I would still do that for free, Jake. Start Ahmad or Luis Diaz. I'd start Luis Diaz. Victor with a super chat says, thank you for everything, Ross. Happy New Year and a strong second part of the season in FPL. Thank you very much. Question, would you bench Bowen, Rodgers or João Pedro? You never walk alone. I don't know why I read the end of that out. Disregard that part. I was just sort of reading. Bench Bowen, Rodgers or João Pedro. I would bench probably Jared Bowen. Alisson or Raya. I prefer Alisson. Pickle, yes, I am still planning those same two moves. I'm going to wait another 15 just because Crystal Palace play at 3 p.m, I think. So yeah, I think for that reason, I'll probably wait. Do they play at 3 p.m? Let me check. Yeah, they're at 3 p.m. So there's a chance we might get something in the next half an hour, but I doubt it. I'll probably make my moves in 15 mins. Secret Liverpool fan. Ugh. Oof. I probably hate Liverpool more than Man City, I'll be honest. In terms of teams that I dislike the most, I remember I grew up in London. I would say it's Arsenal, then Liverpool. All of my best friends support Arsenal, which is why I don't like Arsenal. But I don't let that affect my FPL decisions, don't worry. Would you bench Ahmad or Rodgers? I'd bench Ahmad and start Rodgers, personally. Start Robinson or Colwell. I think that's very close, but I might lean Robinson. -4 for Fleck and João Pedro to Henderson and Mateta. Worth it? Probably not. I'd probably just do Fleck to Henderson. And I'd leave the João Pedro to Mateta move until you can do it for free. Cunha for Pedro on wildcard got Jackson and Isak. I mean, yeah, on a wildcard, you could definitely start with Cunha and then sell him when he gets banned. But I'd still be tempted to have no Cunha even on wildcard. Bench Colwell or João Pedro? I'd bench Colwell and start João Pedro. How long we got? We've got 30 minutes until the deadline. So make sure you are starting to think about your moves. Make sure that you've got your bench order sorted. Make sure you've got your captaincy sorted as well. If we do get any early team news in the next 29 minutes, I will absolutely share that with you. Start Rodgers or Pedro. I genuinely think this is a 50-50 decision and everyone is asking me the same thing. I would ask you to think about how you see this game going. Do you think Aston Villa will dominate? Do you think Brighton will dominate? Do you think it will be low scoring? If you think it's going to be a really low-scoring game, maybe you back João Pedro because he's on penalties. If you think that Villa will grab a couple of goals, then maybe you bench Rodgers. If you think this is the game that Brighton bounce back, then maybe I'll just start João Pedro. So I think thinking about the way that you predict the Brighton Villa game to go would be good. I think that overall, I expect Villa to win that game. So I think I'd lean towards starting Rodgers because I think they'll score more goals. How do you feel about Man United tomorrow? I feel like it's probably the worst possible game that I could go to because we've got no Bruno and Ugarte and Newcastle are flying at the moment. I think we'll lose. I think 2-0. If I had to guess. Maybe 2-1. Your camera and PC are starting to give out. Yeah, sounds like it. But they've been going for an hour and a half fairly well, so that's a win. Hopefully it holds up enough. If it does go slightly, I apologise. If it goes massively, then I'll turn my camera off. Play Lewis or Robinson in a 3-4-3, or would you play both and bench Semenyo and play a 4-3-3? I would play Lewis, bench Robinson, and start Semenyo, and I would back Bournemouth to score. Unless you think Fulham keep a clean sheet, in which case, yeah, start Robinson and bench Semenyo. But I would probably start Lewis and Semenyo and bench Robinson. Start Robinson or Colwill, and João Pedro or Rodgers. I would go probably Robinson and Rodgers. Will? What are your thoughts on Eze? Coming back from injury, so I don't know how good his minutes will be. He shares penalties with Mateta. He shares set pieces with Wharton when he's there and Hughes when he's not. And Sarr is in a really nice run of form, and his minutes have been very good. I feel like if Eze was the same price as Sarr, I'd probably go there. But for the saving, I probably prefer Sarr. I don't think there's that much in it, though. I really don't mind Eze as a pick if you want to go there. Why are you going João Pedro to Mateta? Because João Pedro's been really disappointing. Mateta's got a really nice game. And I like having a bit of fun with FPL. You know? Ross, thanks for everything this year, mate. Thank you to you for being here. I appreciate it. Should I bench João Pedro, Moniz, or Robinson? Probably Moniz, because he could start, but Jimenez could also start. So I'd probably bench Moniz from the 3. And would you take Flecken out for a -4? If you've got no goalkeeper, then yeah, I would. And I'd probably bring in Henderson, Pickford, or Allison. Happy New Year, mate. Thank you for the kind words. Listen, I know Mateta's not a game breaker. If I thought Mateta was a game breaker and he was a really obvious transfer in, I'd be sitting here telling everyone to do it. I'm doing it myself. I'll be honest. In the last 2 seasons, my favourite 3 forwards in FPL have probably been Isak, Cunha and Mateta. I owned Isak last season for his monster hauls when no one else owned him. I brought him in when he was only a few percent. This season, I brought in Cunha when he was 2%. And last season, I owned Mateta for the back end of the season, and especially in double game week 34 when he scored 29 points. So if I'm thinking about my 3 favourite forwards in FPL across the last 2 seasons, it's Isak, Cunha and Mateta. So for me, to be able to do João Pedro to Mateta, I'm owning 3 of my favourite players in FPL. So it's also just a bit of a fun thing. It's just those are the players that I want to own. Why are you playing Robinson over Lewis? Cheers. I'm going to sell Lewis in a second and then bench Robinson, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's the plan at the moment. Bench one of Robinson or Hall and Ahmad or Pedro. Happy New Year. I would start Hall instead of Robinson, and I would start João Pedro instead of Ahmad. Do I start Hall or Robinson in defence, and who should I bench? I'd still say, yeah, Hall ahead of Robinson just about. But that might be a bit of pessimism as a United fan. I just think without Bruno, without Ugarte, given how good they've been defending, and also given that Lewis Hall is on set pieces, I think I would have Hall marginally ahead of Robinson. Play Enzo or João Pedro. Enzo. Play 2 of Robinson, Hall, Howson. I play Robinson and Hall and bench Howson. You missed my super chat. Let me have a look, mate. Sorry. Where were you? I can't see one from you, mate. That's why I've missed it. It's not there for me. Oh, I've just seen it. Start Enzo or Rodgers. I've answered that 100 times in the stream anyway, but I said I'd start Enzo. No, I didn't. Rodgers. Rodgers ahead of Enzo just about. Yeah, Rodgers just ahead of Enzo. Where was I? Shaunak says, I have Henderson, Gabriel, Timber, Trent, midfield of Mo, Palmer, Ahmad, and Burmo, front line of Cunha, Pedro, Evanilson, bench of Bruno, Kirkes, Davis. Should I do Bruno, Davis to Munoz, Sarr, then Evanilson to Jackson next game week with Triple Palace? I think that's a really nice set of moves. I think another thing you could do is do Bruno to Gordon this week. I also like. And Davis to Munoz. But yeah, overall, I think that's a nice set of moves. Evanilson probably does need to come out at some point. I think you want to load up on Palace. It's a really nice team. I don't think you're far off. But yeah, I think Bruno and Davis to Munoz and then Sarr/Gordon is really nice. I've got 4 free transfers, considering Flecken to Sells, Fast to Munoz, and Fernandez to Gordon. What are your thoughts? Yeah, love that, mate. I'd be happy to do all of those. I'd be happy to make all of those transfers. Adrift Mosquito says, start Rao or Mbermo and Robinson or Colwill. Rao or Mbermo and Robinson or Colwill. I would start Mbermo and Robinson. Or I would, yeah, actually, if you can do Mbermo to Gordon, yes, okay. So I would do Mbermo to Gordon and start Gordon, and then I would start Robinson instead of Colwill, probably. Just about. I think that one's very tight, the defender decision. But yeah, if you've got a route to Gordon, I would go for it. Oh, my chat is frozen. Hi, Ross. Hope you're having a great day. Should I start Ahmad or Ismaila Sarr? And also, should I captain Palmer or Salah? Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I would start Sarr ahead of Ahmad, absolutely. And I think Palmer versus Salah is a 50-50. I think if you think Chelsea are going to go full strength and Palmer will play 90, I'd captain Palmer. If there are any doubts for you, which there are for me, maybe you just captain Salah, because there are doubts as to whether Chelsea go full strength or not. -4 for Ahmad to Gordon/Murphy and bench João Pedro. I probably wouldn't do that, no. I probably wouldn't do that. Feeder Jiba says, bench Ahmad or Sarr, Allison or Henderson. I would bench Ahmad and start Sarr. And I think, considering the saving, Henderson might be a slightly better pick than Allison right now. If you need to start one of them, I think you start Henderson as well. I think you've got to in this fixture. Wood or Mateta for the next 5 weeks? I prefer Mateta, but I think Wood is going to tick along and score goals. I think I might be completely wrong. I'm sure I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember who said this. I think it might have been James from Planet FPL. I think Wood has only scored 1 of Nottingham Forest's last 8 goals, and he's only scored 1 in 5 games. Chris Wood's output has dropped off a cliff, and this is what we thought would happen when you looked at his underlying data. I would probably go Mateta. I think the fixtures are there to attack. Would you start Bowen or Rodgers? Oh, that's a tough one. I'd start Rodgers, I think, for the fixture. Start 2 out of Hall, Robinson, Kirkes, Colwill. I'd probably start Hall and Robinson. Bench 3 of Enzo, Rodgers, Pedro, Wood, Robinson, Hall. Probably Robinson, Hall, and Pedro. I'd start Enzo, Rodgers, and Wood. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream and you're not yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing. It massively supports me as a final present in 2024, because this is the final stream of 2024. If you're not yet subscribed, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Would you sell Haaland to Isak? Honestly, I would probably keep and captain Haaland if I owned him this week. Believe it or not. Such a good fixture. But I can understand why you wouldn't want to. Pedro to Jackson with 1 free transfer or roll. I would do it. I would do Pedro to Jackson if you've got the free transfer to do it. Bench 1 of Enzo, Ødegaard or Rodgers. Ooh, probably Enzo. Fabianski out for Sells or Mazraoui out for Munoz. I think Mazraoui to Munoz, unless you've got no goalkeeper. If you've got no goalkeeper, then Fabianski to Sells. Do we have any early team news? No early team news right now. but we might do in the next 20. I'll obviously keep you updated. Basically stick around for the next 20. If we do get any team news, I'll find out about it. Otherwise, sadly, we don't. I'll just double check I've not been sent any DMs quickly that I can share, which I haven't. So if I do, again, I will update you. Yes, Mr. Zodiac, I did answer that one. I think I would make those 3 free transfers, considering you've got 4 free transfers. But yeah, thank you for all the support in 2024. I really appreciate it. And thank you for moderating the streams. Thank you to all of the moderators in here as well. I do appreciate it. I probably don't thank you enough for all of the stuff that you do. If you can hear someone screaming outside, sadly, it's a homeless man that takes a lot of drugs that camps outside my building. But if you hear screaming, that's who that is. Thank you for the great content. I have 1 free transfer. Would you do Pedro to Jackson or Bowen to Enzo? Would you do Pedro to Jackson or Bowen to Enzo? That's a really tough one, actually. I'd probably go Pedro to Jackson. Yeah, Bowen's so talismanic. He could do anything in any game, really. I'd be tempted to do Bowen to Saar. I probably wouldn't buy Enzo right now. I'm okay having Enzo, but I probably wouldn't buy Enzo. I agree, Frosty. I don't want early team news. I would be very happy if we never had early team news ever again. I think you then have such a skill gap. Because not only do you have to pick good players, you also have to predict minutes. When we're so over-reliant on early team news, you don't even have to predict the minutes well. You just have to be watching a live stream for a content creator. And yeah. Enzo to Gordon for free. I'd be tempted, but I'm not going to do it. Or save. Bench Enzo, Rogers, or Wissa. I'd probably bench Wissa of the 3 there. I think I would save. I think Enzo's fine this week, but I do really like Gordon. Hi, Ross. João Pedro to Mateta for a -4. Not for me. Listen, if you're really fed up of João Pedro, Callum, then you can do it. But a -4 to sell a penalty taker for another player that could do well, but also hasn't shown much form this season, I probably wouldn't. I don't think, anyway. Bruno to Gordon or Saar or Roll to bench Colwell. I'd probably just play Colwell in that case. Best team for a free hit this game week. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Just go triple Liverpool. I'd probably go triple Palace, triple Chelsea, triple Liverpool, and probably like double Arsenal. And maybe I'd chuck Isak in there as well. But I think you want to load up on the teams with good fixtures. Would you start Timber or Robinson? Love your streams, by the way. Thank you very much, Shavam. I would start Timber ahead of Robinson, personally. Charlie Woodward says, wildcard, Alisson, Castagna, Munoz, Gabriel, Trent Howson, midfield of Saar, Palmer, Salah, Enzo, and Rogers, Mateta, Jackson, and Isak. Any changes? That is utter perfection, mate. I wouldn't change a single player. Would I? I might not have Enzo. I love Enzo. I've got him in my team. I'm happy to have him. Would I have him on a wildcard? I think that's the only pick in there. I'd probably want Gordon where you've got Enzo. But in order to afford that, you'd probably have to drop one of Jackson or Mateta. So do you know what? I really don't mind that wild card. I'll give it like a 9.8, 9.9 out of 10. It's a really nice wild card, mate. There's really nothing major to change there. Which one to start from Colwell, Lewis, or Mikalenko? I'd start Rico Lewis. I would. Start 2 of Gabriel Jesus, Enzo, and Rogers. Probably Gabby, Jesus, and Rogers. I'd probably bench Enzo. Start Colwell or Hall. I'd probably start Lewis Hall. Keep up the epic work, Ross. Even Ilson or João Pedro. I'd start João Pedro ahead of Even Ilson. And thank you very much, Gaz. SM says, I hope you had a great Christmas. Start Porro or Robinson. I would probably start Robinson. Yeah, Robinson. Or a -4 for Porro to Hall and start Hall. No, I wouldn't take the -4 this week. I agree. It's not worth it. Yeah, not worth a -4 SM. I'd leave it as is and I'd probably start Robinson. Right, guys. I'll answer the few super chats that have been sent already. Try not to send any more super chats because once I get through the ones I've got, I need to make my own transfers and I don't want to waste anyone's money that sends a super chat. So no more from now. If you do, then I apologise if I don't get through to it. -4, Flecken and Bench Boost have Raya too. Only if all 15 players look very likely to start. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it personally. I think your bench has to be really strong, and you have to have 15 players that you're pretty sure will start to justify it at the moment. Does Jackson actually start? Thinking of a 5-3-2. I don't know if Jackson starts or not, and we're not going to find out because they play tomorrow, but you obviously start Jackson. And honestly, I'd be fine buying Jackson because he's a good long-term hold. You're not just buying Jackson for this one game. So yeah, it wouldn't put me off buying him. It wouldn't put me off starting him. But no, I have absolutely no idea if Jackson starts or not. If you had to ask me my prediction, I predict that Jackson will start, yes. Bench one of Iwobi, João Pedro, or Semenyo. I'd probably bench Semenyo. João Pedro or Ahmad. I'd probably start João Pedro, bench Ahmad. Bench one of Enzo, Semenyo, Kulusevski. Probably Semenyo. FIFA Goals has become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much. Regarding my earlier bench boost question, Alex says, Mikalenko, João Pedro, Enzo, any goalkeeper. Team is Alisson, Trent, Timber, Gabriel, Robinson, Salah, Palmer, Mbeumo, Sarr, Isak, Cunha. Would you do it? Sorry, there's a fly. I don't know what that fly is doing. Yeah, I would. Mikalenko, João Pedro, Enzo, and Henderson. Get Henderson in, bench boost that. It might not work out, but that's such an exciting bench boost, Alex. I would do it. Khan says, bench two of Semenyo, João Pedro, Robinson, Rodgers, Sarr, Jackson. I would bench Semenyo and Robinson, I think, and I'd start João Pedro, Rodgers, Sarr, Jackson. Should I do Munoz for Vandenberg and bench one more with 5 at the back, have Trent, Timber, Gabriel? You've already got a bit of a benching headache. You've already got 3 good defenders. I'd probably leave that this week, Khan, if it was me. I think your defense is already solid enough. Happy New Year, says Eden. Would you start Wood or Rodgers? Would I start Wood or Rodgers? I would probably start Wood. Penalties, talismanic. I'd start Wood ahead of Rodgers, yeah. Best long-term goalkeeper is probably Pickford or Henderson or Alisson. They're my top 3. Luke says, hi Ross, love the content. Thoughts on doing either Wood or Rao to Mateta with only 1 free transfer or just roll? And would you start Rodgers or Mbeumo? I would start Rodgers ahead of Mbeumo this week, and I would do Raul Jimenez to Mateta. I'd be pretty happy to do that. Raul Jimenez to Mateta. You've got 12 minutes until the deadline, by the way. Thomas says, I've got 3 free transfers and 0.9 million in the bank. Very nice. Fabianski, Gabriel, 8 Nuri, Trent, Lewis, Vandenberg, Enzo, Salah, Palmer, Rodgers, Saka, Isak, Cunha, João Pedro. So what would I do? I think you've got the option Vandenberg to Munoz. You can't afford that, can you? 8 Nuri to Munoz, I would be pretty happy doing. Or Lewis to Munoz. I would sell one of those 2 defenders and move to Munoz. And I think your other option is selling Enzo to Sarr. Otherwise, I think you can probably roll after making that defender transfer. That's what I would do, Thomas. I would probably do 8 Nuri or Lewis to Munoz. Hamad says, start 4 of Gabriel, Mikalenko, Robinson, Trent, Hall, Mbeumo, João Pedro. I would start Gabriel. I would start Trent. I would start João Pedro. I would start Mbeumo. That's it, isn't it? Gabriel, Trent, Mbeumo, João Pedro. They'd be the 4 that I'd start. Right, I'm going to make my transfers now. I don't think we've seen anything that would put us off massively. So I'm going to get those 2 Crystal Palace transfers done. It's going to backfire, I'm sure, but let's have some fun with it, eh? Let's have some fun with FPL. Let me get those transfers in place then. Transfers. Sorry if there's a little bit of lag on my camera. My audio should be coming through absolutely fine. It just happens often on towards the back end of the streams. So I'm going to bring in Mateta because I like him as a player. And I like the fixture run. The fixture run for Crystal Palace is wild. That's a great run of fixtures there. Right up until Southampton. This run here is wonderful. So that's the plan right now. Computer is absolutely struggling. I can only apologise. And then the other transfer, it's because I'm on the internet. Note to self, don't use the internet, is Lewis to Munoz. Right. You have 30 seconds to convince me not to make the moves of Lewis and João Pedro to Munoz and Mateta for free. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Is that what it said? Hold your peace. That sounds a bit sus, doesn't it? No one needs to be holding their peace right now. What do we think of these transfers? Anyone against them? Do it, yes, do it. Everyone's on board with the transfers. Everyone's on board with them. Who's holding whose peace? I don't know. I don't want to hold your peace. Why are you holding your piece? That's what I want to know. Right, I'm just going to do it. Lewis to Munoz, João Pedro to Mateta. Confirmed transfers. Get in my team, Munoz. It does mean I have to bench Robinson, but it does also mean that I have a good first sub at least. Done. Too late. No, I don't know anything about Rico Lewis. I promise you. In fact, I think Rico Lewis will probably start. I promise I don't know anything about Rico Lewis. It's just because I don't want to hold him long term and I really like Munoz. If I had Lewis and you've got other issues to sort, you could absolutely start Lewis this week. Too late now. Too late now to not do it. Let me get back to answering your questions. I just want a bit of the Palace action, you know? I think they're playing well. Great run of fixtures. Southampton at home this week. Feels very nice. Hi, Ross. Here is my team. Sells, Lewis, Van Dijk, Trent, Salah, Palmer, Sarr, Semenyo, Jackson, Mateta, and Solanke. Benches Iwobi, Concert, 8, Nuri, and Turner. Yeah, it's a really nice team. Did you ask me a previous question or are you just showing me your team? I can't remember if this was in relation to a previous question. Otherwise, it's a really nice team. What don't I like about it? If I was going to criticise the team, Semenyo and Iwobi would probably be like probably Rodgers and Enzo I'd have ahead of them. But other than that, it's a really nice team. You'd imagine you get a nice big green arrow this week based on that team, I think. George just says, do it. Love it, George. Lewis, who to start out of Robinson, Ahmad, João Pedro? I'd probably start João Pedro out of the three of those. Fleck and Bowen to Becker Eze for a -4. Bench 2. Yeah, I don't mind that -4. That sounds nice. Bench 2 of Colwell, Mikalenko, Castagna, and Enzo or Jesus. I'd bench Enzo and start Jesus, and I'd probably bench Mikalenko and Castagna and start Colwell, I think. Oh, I'd be tempted to start Castagna ahead of Colwell. Do you know what? I would actually have Castagna ahead of Colwell. He's shown a lot of attacking threat already. I'm stuck. Sells or Pickford. I think they're both great, but because of the double game week coming, and because I really back Sean Dyche, I'd probably go Pickford. They just find a way to keep clean sheets. I'd probably go Pickford. But I think Sells is absolutely fine as well. Really. And also, I think he's a bit cheaper, isn't he? Or am I wrong there? I don't know. But I think either Sells or Pickford. I also still think Henderson is worth a shout. I do. Just given the fixtures for Crystal Palace. Do you think bringing Gordon or Sarr? I prefer Gordon to Sarr. If I was to choose one, I would go Gordon ahead of Sarr. Does KDB start? I've got no idea. I've not seen any early team news. Let me just make sure again I've not been sent a DM or missed anything. But I would predict KDB does start, but I don't know that for a fact. Foden and Lewis are benched, apparently. If you've got a source, send it. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you're trolling. Unless there's a source that you can provide, I'll always assume you're trolling. Also, make sure you're not getting boonered by Booner. Make sure that you are actually getting that from a reliable account. I very highly doubt that is true. And unless I see a reliable source, it is Booner. Okay, there you go. Every time. Why are so many people struggling to just check the source? It's crazy. No, we don't have any reliable early team news as of yet. No reliable early team news as of yet. Keep Lewis. Look at his next fixtures. He'll be advanced. It's a bit late now, Mark. FPL Main Road said it. No, he probably didn't. It's probably Booner pretending to be him, isn't it? Let me check. FPL Main Road. No, FPL Main Road's not tweeted. It's Booner. It's Booner. Look, I've got him muted. That's the person that's tweeted it. That is not real. There is no early team news. Not that I've seen anyway. I would expect both Lewis and Foden to start. I don't know that though, but I would expect them to. Concert and Munoz for a -4. No. Oh, God, that's so tight. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I would. If I ever meet Booner, I'm going to chin him. He's actually really nice in person. I've met Booner 4 or 5 times and he's really nice. I don't know why he does this online, but here we go. Abby Manu says, wildcard of Sells, Valdemarson, Trent Gabriel, Munoz, Castagna, Howson, Salah Palmer, Gordon, Sarr, Rogers, Isaac, Watkins, Wood. Yeah, like a 9.5 out of 10. I probably wouldn't have Watkins or Wood, but I understand why you do. Watkins is a short-term punt. Wood ticks along. Yeah, that's a great wildcard, mate. No issue at all with that. By the way, you've got just over 3 minutes until the deadline, everyone. Make sure you've got your captaincy sorted. Make sure you've got your vice captaincy sorted. Make sure you've got your bench order in order as well. Make sure you've made your transfers. You've got only a few minutes till the deadline. Gordon or Iwobi? I prefer Gordon. Definitely prefer Gordon. Do you think Lewis will start? I think both Lewis and Foden will start. KDB, I'm slightly less sure on. Gvardiol is almost definitely going to start, you'd imagine. I think it'll be a pretty good team. No, it's not a credible tweet. It is. People are getting boonered again. I don't know why. I think it's more embarrassing when content creators get boonered because they should be checking, but yeah. Are you making any transfers? I've already made 2 transfers. I brought in Munoz and Mateta. It sounds like Foden starts. A couple of accounts have tweeted that Foden starts, but we'll see. What's your plan to fix your bench? I don't need to fix my bench. I've got Robinson as a backup defender or Munoz as a backup defender. Fernandes will be back from next week, so it'll be Enzo or Rogers. It's only Vandenberg and Fabianski, but I don't really need to sort my bench. I think my bench is fine. Erdegaard or Enzo? Erdegaard. Would you start Hall, Robinson, or Lewis? I'd honestly probably start Lewis. Rogers or Enzo? I would just about have Rogers ahead of Enzo, probably. You've got less than 2 minutes till the deadline. Semenyo or João Pedro? João Pedro. Jesus or Rogers? Probably Jesus, just about. Cunha or Luca Dean? Definitely Cunha. Definitely Cunha. Colwell or Mbermo? I still think I'd start the penalty taker there, so I'd go Mbermo. Enzo versus Semenyo. I think I'd back the better fixture, so I would go Enzo. Ahmad or Cunha? I'd go Cunha ahead of Ahmad. Start Castagna or Kirkes? Oh, that's a close one. I'd go Castagna. I think he's got more attacking threat. Do I start Cunha or Wood? I would start both of them, but if you're only starting one, I'd start Cunha. Hall or Munoz? Definitely Munoz. If you've got Munoz, you have to start him. He's probably the best defender to own this week. That's why I brought him in. You've got less than a minute till the deadline. I would just focus on getting your teams locked in and stop asking questions, probably. Bowen or Rogers? Probably Rogers. Buy Munoz or start Olaena? I'd just start Olaena in that case. Olaena's great for this week. Hey, Ross, you missed my super chat. I did. By the time I find it, it's going to be too late. So I will just make you a move, and I very much apologise. Bench boost, Henderson, Colwell, Robinson, and Rogers. If you've got time, I probably would bench boost that, yeah. That's a very nice bench. Will Sanchez be rotated? Yeah, I'm not expecting Sanchez to play. I'm expecting to have 10 players. I think Sanchez will be rotated. Start Munoz or Colwell? Munoz, definitely. FPL Tony paywalling leaks. He's been doing it for months, Frosty. He's had a Patreon for ages. Yeah, he tweets it like 10 minutes before the deadline and says that people can't share it on Twitter. Right, there we go. That is the deadline, 1 p.m. Make sure you stick around, by the way. I'm going to carry on streaming for a little bit, so stick around. And if you don't stick around, make sure to subscribe as you leave, please. I really appreciate it. But yeah, stick around. The stream will go on. But yeah, if you are going to leave, make sure you subscribe. Cool. Right, I need to tweet my team quickly. Right, here we are. Expecting Sanchez to be benched. So probably. I still think you should use this time to roast people's teams on Twitter. I could do. Make some enemies. Right, Game Week 19, Salah captain, 198k, 1.3 million bank. Luis to Munoz, João Pedro to Mateta. Expect the Sanchez to be benched, probably only fielding 10 players and fully prepared for João Pedro to punish me. Right, cool. Need to get my team. Sarr is better. Sarr better cook this game week. He probably will. I would imagine that he will. Hopefully Mateta gets involved in the action if he does, you know. I'd love Sarr to blank and Mateta to go ballistic, but I think if one of them hauls, the other one probably gets something, you'd imagine. Eze is probably going to be the one that smashes it after everyone goes for Sarr or Mateta. Although, I have seen a few people go for Eze. Alright, let me copy-paste that. God, it's crazy that we're at Game Week 19 already, chat. Game Week 19 already. Wild. All I will say, and I know I've just brought in Munoz and Mateta. Munoz, it makes sense, but Southampton have been a little bit more defensive since Martin left. I can't remember what's the manager's name? Their first game, they looked a little bit more defensively sound. So I wonder if he might end up... And he went with Eze. Interesting. It's almost like FPL reviews suggest that. Crazy. Doesn't surprise me at all. Lots of people went Eze. He's a very FPL review pick. All of the models and algorithms like Eze. And certain managers this season are very much relying on the algorithms. Urich. Okay. That's the name. That's what I was looking for. Done. Shots fired. Ooh. He didn't use gut feeling. Honestly, I would say 10 to 20% of FPL accounts on Twitter are copying FPL review and they're pretending that they're not. I don't have an issue with people that copy FPL review and admit that they copy FPL review, but some people don't, and they pretend that it's just their own gut feeling and stuff, and it's not. Because you can see that they change throughout the week, their opinions based on that. By the way, I've no issue with looking at algorithms. I on a regular basis look at algorithms, projected points, bookies, odds. It's just when people don't admit that, it's a bit weird, I think. Personally. I feel like you should admit what is contributing to your decision making. Right. Where was I? Blue Sky. I'm not talking about just Andy here, by the way. I'm talking about there's loads of people on Twitter. I'm just like, they'll be like, oh, I like this player. And then you check FPL review and they're like the highest projected points. And you're like, oh, okay, makes sense. What is FPL review and is there a cartel starting again? No, it's basically it's a very good website, but it's just basically like projected points. It's an algorithm, and a lot of people use it to inform their decisions. That's it. Did you know Pickle went with Mateta too? I love the idea that I wouldn't know that. Yeah, Pickle and I talk about FPL every day. We both had a bit of a gut feeling on Mateta, so we went there. Same team as Pickle, bar the keeper. Yeah, well, she's my girlfriend and I'm her boyfriend, and we talk about FPL all the time, so we're probably going to inevitably impact each other's decisions, I would say. Right. Post. Yeah, to be honest, it's more likely that I'm copying Pickle. Some copy review. Everyone else copies Pickle. Facts. Listen, I genuinely think you can play the game however you want. If you want to copy a content creator, copy a content creator. If you want to copy FPL review, copy FPL review. You want to copy your girlfriend or boyfriend, copy your boyfriend or girlfriend. I just think you should be honest about how you play FPL. That was what I was getting at. You know? I will be honest. I play based on vibes and data in combination. Because Mateta's data isn't great this season. If I'm just a data-driven manager, I wouldn't bring in Mateta in a million years. Why did you bench Bruno? Where's your creativity? I really hate bench. I was going to swear because I can't use that word. I hate when people are like, oh, I'm starting Fernandes just to get the bet. No, just start your players that are actually playing, you know? You know? I'm just firing shots at everyone. Who else wants me to... Who do you want me to fire shots at? Who should I fire some shots at? Should we just roast everyone in the FPL community? Look what my sister and brother-in-law got me. What is this? What's that? What are they trying to say? I took a shot at FPL Harry. What did I take a shot at Harry doing? Oh, yeah. I take a shot at Harry all the time. The thing is, though, I take a shot at Harry in private as well. I'm always roasting Harry. Get the Leif Davis mug now. I'll actually get that in a second, yeah. Who do we... I'm not actually going to sit here and roast everyone. One second, I'm going to get my Leif Davis mug. Oh. What do we think? My computer's decided to die at a completely wrong point, but there we go. This was from me, Marjorie, and my dad. #1 Leif Davis fan. It is good, isn't it? No, they're not anti-fart. They're anti-shart. A shart is a fart when you follow through a little bit, you know? Oh, you know when you take a risk that you shouldn't be taking that risk. These are the sort of Christmas presents that I get. What does this say about me? What does this say about me as an individual? I don't even know. I don't even know what that says about me as an individual. But oh, I also got this, which was pretty cool, from Nanoraptor. Is it going to show? It's one of those... Oh, God, I've unplugged it now. Oh, God. Oh, it's all unplugged. I was going to show you. It lights up. I'm not going to be able to show you that it lights up now because I've unplugged it. But it's a raptor. I don't know. Is it a raptor? I think it is actually a raptor, isn't it? Yeah, it's a raptor. Yeah, it's a raptor. Look, it's a dinosaur light that lights up. As well, from Nanoraptor. It says you're a Leif Davis fan with IBS. You're not wrong, Dave. You're not wrong. Oh, goodness. Oh, these streams. What did Pickle get you? Pickle got me lots of stuff. This hoodie came from FPL Pickle. She also got me a lovely t-shirt as well. I got some chocolate as well. I got some products for my face and head. Some scrubs, some creams. God, Pickle, what else did you get me? I got a book as well. I got 2 books for Christmas. Let me show you the 2 books that I got for Christmas. Did you have my stream open, Ross? You got gifted a membership somehow. Wait, what? Are you sure it's me? Haven't opened your stream at any point. Apparently I got gifted a membership in Oscar's live stream. I've not even been on Oscar's live stream. That's crazy if that's me. Where is it? These are the 2 books I got. I got this one from FPL Pickle. It's called Eliminate Negative Thinking. I can be a bit of an anxious boy. So it's not a particularly long one. It's got some practical stuff about eliminating negative thinking, which is nice. And then this, The Power of Now, which is, I know, is a very famous book. I've been wanting to read this for a long time. I got this from my sister and brother-in-law. Loved it. New books smell great. And Claudette, you're going to be buzzing about this. Wait there. Look what my mum and dad got me as well. Related to books. Sorry, just nerding out about books. Anyway, so Power of Now. This is the book I'm reading right this second. I've got a bookmark. Look. And it's got some pictures of me, and then there's me and Pickle at the bottom as well. That's very cute. Nice little bookmark. So, I don't have to fold the pages anymore, and I can actually... Pretty cool bookmark. So, I'm going to finish this book, and then I'll be reading one of these 2 books afterwards, I think. Self-help books are cringe. Your mum's face is cringe. I'm joking. I'm sure your mother is a lovely woman. It depends, right? Depends what you need. I don't read because I read for knowledge, and I think self-help books still have a lot of knowledge in. Some of them are a bit cringy, I would agree with that, but yeah. I think Power of Now isn't your classic self-help book. Same as Ever isn't a self-help book. Eliminate Negative Thinking might be, but there will also be some good stuff in there as well. So there we go. There were 290 memberships given out on Oscar's stream. Oscar got 290 gifted memberships. The man must be rolling in it. Does anyone want to give me 290 memberships? How's Pickle going today? Pickle's fine. Pickle's fine. She's in Birmingham. I'm going to be seeing her in Manchester tomorrow. We're going to watch the Manchester United Newcastle game together. Manchester United are very kind, and they have invited us back to the box at Manchester United. Hi, Ross. Who do you think will be the Manchester United penalty taker? It will probably be, I reckon, Højlund or Eriksen is my prediction. It was all from the same guy. Wow. Fair play. Fair play. Does membership money go to you, Ross? I think so. I think so. Super chat money definitely does, but not 100%, by the way. If you see like a £50 super chat, which is obviously a big super chat, but I only get 70% of that. There we go. So yeah, YouTube takes 30%. I also think sometimes they take more than 30%. I don't actually work out the maths because it's very difficult to work out. But yeah, YouTube take 30% of everything. It's the same with ad revenue as well. YouTube take 30% of everything. Yeah, and that's before tax, as you say. So if I get given a £50 super chat, I'll take 35, quick maths, and then I get taxed on that 35. So yeah, so it's not as much. Like, you might see a super chat come in and think, wow, that's so much. Like right now, like Salah's just gifted or donated £5 as a super chat. I'll take £3.50 and then I'll pay 20% tax on that. So I'll lose another 70p. So from £5, I only take home about £2.80. It's still great, by the way. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying sometimes it will look like a lot more money in the super chats than it actually is. Teams are out in 2 minutes. Yes, they are. I'll have a look in a second. I just want to actually answer this super chat. So Salah says, I've done one transfer and it's a bit of a gut feeling transfer. I've done Jackson to Watkins for the next 2 to 3 games with Duran suspended. I love it. Trust your gut feeling. I do think the next 2 home fixtures for Watkins looks great. Thomas said, geez, was planning to roll, but panicked and took a -4 for Bruno to Odegaard and JP to Mateta. Could not choose which, so just did both. Resulted in an Enzo benching. I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully the Enzo benching doesn't go well for you, because I need him to do well, but yeah. Is it only 20% tax in the UK? It depends what you do. Like I've registered my YouTube as a business, so there's certain things you can do, like business expenses and whatnot. It's 20% up to a certain number, and then it's 40% beyond that, I think. So yeah. But yeah, I pay a lot of tax because I've technically got 2 jobs as well, because I get paid for lecturing and I get paid from YouTube. So they tax me like twice. Not twice. They tax me like extra hard because of the 2 jobs. Tax is really annoying. I hired an accountant because I didn't want to try and deal with it all myself, because I just knew that I'd be getting it wrong. So I've got an accountant that does everything for me. I don't trust myself. It's all very confusing. I find it confusing anyway. Lewis starts, Gvardiol starts, Foden starts, and De Bruyne starts. That's a very strong team. Here's my prediction. I think City put 4 or 5 goals past Leicester. That for me is their best 11. I was just thinking, is there anyone else I'd like to see in that 11? That for me is their best starting 11. Maybe you could make a case to get Grealish in there, but I think that's their best starting 11. If City don't absolutely just destroy Leicester, they're in big trouble with that team. They've got no excuses there now. KDB and Foden in the same 11. Just wild. Oh, Timothy's gifted 10 memberships. Timothy, what a legend. Sorry, I've just seen that. Let me try and work out who got the 10 gifted memberships. So, S1 got a gifted membership. FPL Chicken got a gifted membership. Calvin got a gifted membership. Yazito, Kaz Edwards, ISO Magic, Joshua, Excel, Sumant, Mr. T have all been gifted memberships. What a legend. Thank you, Timothy. What a superstar. It's very kind of you. Open up a bank account on the Canary Islands. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm too anxious to do anything like that. I just do everything completely by the books. I'm just like, yep, I'd rather pay extra tax and not worry. You sold Lewis, so he's bound to get at least 2 attacking returns and a clean sheet. Oh, I've no doubt he's going to get 15 plus points. It is what it is. He's so lowly owned now, though, for most people. That's the guy that gifted memberships in Oscar's stream. Oh, what a legend. Just come over here and start gifting me memberships now. Basically, everyone in their stream is going to have a membership at this rate. Do likes on the stream give you money? If so, hit that like button. No, so the way that money works on YouTube is subscribers don't give you money, likes don't give you money, comments don't give you money. The only thing that gives you money is people watching ads. That's it. And obviously YouTube Premium, you get a small amount of the money from that. But yeah, people giving you ads, watching the ads. So it's basically just how many views you get and how long do people watch the video for. Because obviously, if you watch a full 30-minute video, you'll watch more ads in that time. So that's it. In terms of my live streams, I get basically £0 from ads because I turn them off. So right now, there's a button that I can hit that says insert ad, and I choose not to insert that ad. Because if I insert an ad, like you're all going to just get an ad and then you're just going to click off the stream anyway. So I get 0 money from ads on these streams. So in terms of a live stream, all of my money on the live streams comes from super chats. But yeah. Who is going to be on the wing, Foden or Silva? It's a good question. I'd probably imagine Silva. They want Foden central, really, don't they? But maybe with KDB in the 11, they'll push Foden a bit wider. If people skip ads, do you get less money? Yeah. I get more. The more money I get, the more ads you watch. This is why YouTube often put unskippable ads, because then you're forced to watch the whole ad. I'd give you my bank account if I could. Thanks, mate. I don't want your bank account. I don't need your money. Just you being here isn't enough. Do ads play for members? Yeah, there is no way to remove ads for specific people, sadly. But you make £100,000 a week in super chat, so it's fine. Exactly, yeah. For sure. Can you imagine? There are people that stream that get like literally hundreds of thousands of pounds a month from like donations and stuff. You know, like Kai Cenat and Speed and people like that. They are making, just from donations, hundreds of thousands a month. From everything else, they're making like millions a month from streaming. Insane. They do stream for like 12 hours a day, though. It's crazy. Blackbox put ads throughout their live streams. Yeah, that's fair enough. I just don't want to. But the thing is with Blackbox, they don't upload YouTube videos. So they kind of need to put ads in. Otherwise, they won't make any money. By the way, you'll still get ads if you watch my stream back, but that's not me, that's YouTube. And then I get... This is what's funny, right? If I decided to not put ads in my videos, you'll probably still get ads, but YouTube will give none of the money to me. They'll take 100% because I've not put the ads in. So basically, if I don't put the ads in, you'll still get them. It's just YouTube hog all of the money. It's crazy. Thanks for another year of top tier FPL content. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. I'll make sure not to skip the ads next time. Oh no, skip the ads. Skip the ads. Honestly, please skip the ads. I'm not asking any of you to watch the ads. I wouldn't do that. I'd skip them. But yeah, yeah, definitely skip them. But obviously, if you've got it on and you end up watching an ad, then great. Then it gives me the moolah. Captaining Haaland every week feels like a charm. I just seen that, Jordan. Funny. Oh, I've lost the chat. Where have you gone, chat? Oh God, the computer's giving up on life. Go on, play an ad, and we will watch it. No, I don't think anyone wants me to put an ad in. Some of you might not care, but I think some of you will, and then I'll come back and there'll be less people here. YouTube Premium is insanely good. I've had YouTube Premium for 2 years now, so I don't have a single ad on my YouTube because I've had YouTube Premium for a long time. No, YouTube Premium, I get a small amount of money from YouTube Premium. So YouTube give me like a really small percentage of someone's monthly subscription, basically. So yeah, YouTube Premium, I still actually get money. Do you actually want me to insert an ad? It won't give me much money because there's only 2,000 of you here right now. But I can play an ad. It'll give me like a couple of pounds. Okay, I'm going to add an ad in. And you're going to regret me asking you to do this. And then make sure you come back after I put the ad in. I'm not doing this to get money because I'll get like £2 from this. But all of you are asking me. I've never actually done this. I've never clicked this button before. There's a button that says insert ad. So I'm going to try. Okay, I've clicked a button. If you're still here and you've not seen the ad, say I'm still here. If you aren't still here and you're watching an ad, then you can say you've had the ad. I don't actually know if it plays for everyone. This is the thing. I don't think everyone will get the ad at the same point. I clicked insert ad though. Let's see. I skipped it. I'm still here. Did you get an ad? No ad, no ad. I've got YouTube Premium. Anyone that doesn't have YouTube Premium or ad blocker, did you get an ad? I don't actually know how it works. I did get an ad. Okay. Okay, so it looks like some people got an ad and some people didn't. Interesting. I'm watching the ads. This is funny. Imagine that I made £1,000 from that one ad. That'd be good. Okay, so yeah, it looks like I reckon about like 20 to 30% seem to have got an ad there. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to do that regularly. That's an interesting experiment. Thank you. If you VPN to Albania, you don't get ads. Just get YouTube Premium. Come on, it's not that much money. I suppose it is, to be fair. It's more expensive than a lot of other subscription-based stuff. Would they be unable to chat if there's an ad? I don't know. I feel like you can still see the live chat if you've got an ad, can't you? Maybe not. To be fair, everyone did come back. Everyone did come back. I respect it. The ad was better than the stream. It's normally like hair growth ads that come on my thing. Just get an ad blocker, it's free. Yeah, but then I get literally 0 pence, Frosty. You're taking money out of my future child's mouth. I hope you're proud of yourself. Also, apparently YouTube are really trying to change their software, whatever it is, to allow ad blockers to no longer work. I know there are a couple of ad blockers that people used to work that don't work now on YouTube, so. More ads, please. It was 5 seconds, then skip, so not too bad. Fair enough. Frosty said, yeah, I'm definitely taking money from you. Exactly, Frosty. All you do is take. You've not given anything to me in the last 3 years. I love you, really. You know I do. You know I do. Can you choose a long ad? No, I can't choose here. When you make YouTube videos, though, you can change it so that you only have skippable ads, or you only have these ads, or only have the. I just let any ads. I got a 30-second Leaf Davis ad. That sounds like the dream. If I'm going to really go through what the dream is, that sounds like it's the dream. Why have you started Cunha over Robinson? I think Cunha's got a better fixture. He's on penalties. That's why. What do you think of Lawson ahead of Sonoda for Red Bull? I don't like it. I think it's destined to fail, but I do also think Lawson's very talented. So we'll see. I would have preferred to see Sonoda, absolutely. How are you doing in the cup competition? I got knocked out straight away. I got knocked out in like the first round. That's nice. Does YouTube pay equivalent to your normal salary, roughly? Depends how many views you get. Depends how many views you get. I think if you can get close to like 1 million views a month, then it's a really nice salary, yeah. I think a million views is probably the aim, but it also depends how long people watch for it. Depends what topic you're making. If you make videos on finance, you'll earn like 4 times what I will. Like you can earn like 10, 15 grand a month from 1 million views if you make finance videos. If you make videos on gaming, you make a lot less money, because basically what companies do is they bid a certain amount of money to have an ad on a certain channel or a certain niche. So the more rich, expensive companies would obviously rather have their ads on finance channels because they assume that people on finance channels have more money, right? Or they at least are more willing to invest their money in products and services. So it depends on the amount of views, the length of the view duration on that channel, and also the niche of the channel. But yeah, you can make a lot of money from YouTube if you do it correctly. Of course you can. It's not as easy as it sounds, though, of course. I bet Diary of a CEO does well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they kill it. They have a really high average view duration. The topics that they cover are really good for ad revenue. Yeah, they probably absolutely kill it. I just spent 7.2 million because of you. Should be getting big bucks. Yeah, true. Oh, I really want Mateta to go big. What if I paid you in pizzas ordered to your house? I respect it. Hasn't he been absolutely slated for some comments he just made? I didn't see that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. FPL Punk says, what is difficult about genres such as FPL videos is that the video is out of date as soon as it's published. Finance videos can be relevant for a while and garner regular views. So the pros of making YouTube videos about FPL is every week you have the topic ready for you. I don't have to get there for a video and think, oh, I've got nothing to discuss today. I discuss my team. I discuss which players are in good form. I discuss which fixtures are good coming up. Like, the content is made for you, and you get a really regular viewership every week. Even if that viewership isn't high, even if it's only 200 people watch you every week, the same 200 will often tune in again and again and again. And that's the same with you guys. Like, a lot of you would have tuned into, I don't know, like 50 plus of my streams before, which is great. The negative, as you say, mate, and you know this very well, is after 24 hours, the video's dead. I get no views after 20. It's not even 48 hours. It's 24 hours, the video's dead. And so that means, like, if I wanted to go traveling for 6 months now, I would earn £0. Like, literally £0 if I decided to go traveling and didn't make a video. Whereas, as you say, if you've made finance videos for the last 3 years, or if you've made productivity videos for the last 3 years, and then you go on holiday, people are still finding and watching your old videos. And also, you can batch record a video. So, like, you could record across a 3-week period a video every day, and then schedule them to go out every few days whilst you're on holiday. So yeah, that is the issue with FPL, is that you can't pre-record, you can't batch record, and videos are dead straight away. But there are also some obviously really good things as well. Yeah, it's because of how quickly football turns around. As you say, like, day to day there is new news, but also because of how many people make YouTube videos now. Why would you sit there and watch a video that I made 3 days ago if Harry's just uploaded? I wouldn't even do that. I'd just go and watch Harry's video because it's more up to date. And because, like, I make 5 to 6 videos a week, Harry does, Oscar does, Andy does, you've then got lots of other fantastic, sorry, Dan as well, of course. You've got then lots of other people that aren't necessarily making as often their videos, but they're still making great videos. Like, even smaller channels like that I've had on FPL Therapy, like Tom and Pricey, like, they're making loads of videos. Like, you've always got up-to-date videos to watch. So like, why would you watch a video from 3 or 4 days ago? This is why it makes no sense to do. Which is why you've got to just constantly keep churning out videos. Would you ever diversify your content? Yeah, I think in the future when I go full, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I don't know if you guys know that, but I'm not full-time. So I think when I do go full-time, which is the plan, I think I will make a, like, productivity psychology style YouTube channel. If anyone watches Ali Abdul, it would be similar to Ali's YouTube channel. That would be the plan. Sorry that my camera's lagging out a bit, by the way. What are your lunch plans? I don't actually know, Frosty. I had pret-a-manger this morning because they make a fantastic egg and avo. So I had that this morning. I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch. I need to think. Are we staying on until the lineup's at 1:45? Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I will. I'll do that. G and Batra makes good content. Yeah, he's got great content. Really, really good football knowledge, hasn't he? Apologies. Gaming videos work for ages. Yeah, it depends on the niche. But yeah, I would agree. Gaming videos are similar. Why don't you make the channel now? Start bringing across some of us now. I honestly, genuinely believe I would say I work 110 hours a week. Some weeks. I'm not exaggerating, and it's not. I'm not classing like scrolling through Twitter as part of that. But when I'm obviously got my YouTube channel, I've got my podcast now. And by the way, that podcast takes so much more work than you can imagine. I don't have an editor. I do all of it myself. I have a producer that is there at the recording, but that takes a lot of work. And I'm doing a PhD, doing my lecturing, going to the gym, everything, like, and just having a life as well. So I genuinely don't have the time. I don't have the time to breathe. I can't remember the last time I just sat there and didn't do anything. Even over Christmas, I'm making graphics for videos. I took my equipment home. Like, it's relentless doing all this stuff. And then in the international break, when you think you can have a week off, I'm probably still doing FPL therapy, but that's when my PhD and my lecturing is obviously at its highest as well, because that's when I need to do the work. So thank you, Pickle. I appreciate that. Yelena says, conquering your fear of Pret, proud. Pret used to scare me a lot, but now it's my favorite place. I love Pret. The food in Pret is so good. It's just obscenely priced. Obscenely priced. I would say, no, I don't work 110 like everywhere. I'd say when my average hours per week that I work is between 80 and 90. Probably. But the thing is, like, if I sit there for 3 hours making graphics for YouTube, often that doesn't feel like work. I really enjoy it. And like, I've technically worked. So I've been streaming for 2 hours, 38 minutes. And it took me half an hour to prep my graphics this morning. I had to go through all of the latest news and predicted lineups, which was about another half an hour. So technically, I've already worked probably just over 4 hours today. Does it feel massively like work? No. No, I'm just chatting about FPL and streaming. So this is the thing. Like, I do more hours than a lot of people, but I am very blessed in what I do. So, yeah. Do you see yourself living in the UK forever? A lot of people are migrating. I think it depends. Like, when FPL Pickle and I start our lovely little family, I think being in the UK makes a lot of sense because we know what we're doing. And family are there as well. Like, I don't want to really have a kid and then move away from like my mum and my dad and my nan and my sister. Like, I think if my family didn't exist, and I'm glad they do, or if my family were more all over the place, then I would be a lot more tempted. But my family are all very close to each other. So to move like to a completely different country, I'm not sure. Maybe before I have kids, or maybe way after when the kids are a little bit older. I don't know. I don't love the UK. I'll be honest. I could see myself like living in like Denmark, somewhere like that. Do you ever get mentally burnt out, Ross? I will be honest, because there's only 2,000 of you here. I'm smiling because it's like a defense mechanism. I actually had a massive cry like a couple of weeks ago. FPL Picker was very lovely, but so she was there. I honestly just started crying, and I think I was just burnt out. Like, it's not natural to do the amount of work that I do. And again, I'm laughing. It's not funny at all. It's not funny. So you should really prioritize your mental health, your sleep, your physical health and stuff like that. But yeah, I absolutely get burnt out. I used to pretend that I didn't get burnt out, but I do. It's impossible not to. I'm not trying to get sympathy, by the way. Like, I choose to do the amount of work I do. I could easily make less YouTube videos and people would understand. I could easily quit my PhD or extend my PhD. I'm allowed to extend my PhD by an extra 3 to 4 years. I could do any of that. I didn't have to start a podcast this season in London, but it's just in my nature. Like, I love it. I love being busy and stuff. But yeah, I do as a result get burnt out. So yeah. If it's not work, if you enjoy it, yeah, like, I love what I do. I love what I do. I love everything I do. So yeah. Don't be afraid to cry, by the way. Honestly, a good cry really helps sometimes. Sometimes I can feel myself being like, not. You don't even need something to cry about. Sometimes you just need to release some emotion. Just have a little cry. Don't be afraid. Don't bottle it up. You know. Men should feel less afraid. Obviously, women as well. But I think women, it's a lot more accepted in today's society to have a little cry. Men feel like they're not allowed to cry. It's good to let it out now and then, mate. Yeah, I agree, mate. Thank you very much. I agree. Look after yourself, but we truly appreciate all you do. Ah, thank you. I wouldn't be here if you guys weren't so sweet anyway. You're amazing. What you doing your PhD in? I'm doing my PhD in sports psychology. So the title of my PhD is exploring the role of virtual reality in elite sport. So I work with a few Premier League teams to implement VR. We're looking at whether VR can be used to improve decision making, to be used in rehabilitation. So when players get injured, in the Premier League, we're utilizing VR as part of their rehab program to see if it can help benefit their rehab. So yeah, it's rehab and sports psychology. And then as part of the PhD, I lecture a few times a week in sports psychology as well. So I teach sport and exercise science to bachelor's students. That's what I do. That's my day job. And then my night job is FPL. Frosty said, I got massively burnt out at the start of 24 from work, nearly walked out on my job, really affecting my overall well-being, including physical symptoms. Mental health is no joke. Oh, mate, they're so linked, aren't they? I do think because I've been so busy, I've not been able to go to the gym as much. And I think the gym really helps me with my mental health. So I think for 2025, I need to prioritize physical health. And I think that helps mental health as well. Can you make a video to fix my ADHD? I have ADHD, so I know how hard that is. I mean, mine's obviously... My ADHD might not seem that bad on stream. I mean, for those of you that have ADHD, or maybe if you're clinically trained, you might be able to spot my ADHD from a mile away. But I understand it's really, really hard. Yeah, you guys are getting a full insight into my life now. You're getting a full insight into my illnesses, my crying, everything. Do your students ever watch your video? Yes, so many of the students, especially this year, like it's growing, obviously, my channel, but so many students watch my videos. Someone's hitting on Claudette. Someone just said, are you single, Claudette? Claudette, you're getting hit on. What was your original degree in? My bachelor's was in psychology, and my master's degree was in sport and exercise psychology. So I did psychology, specified into sport and exercise, and then my PhD went even more specific into sort of cognitive VR sort of stuff. Do you get the raptor arms? Do you do the raptor arms you get with ADHD? Very on brand. No, I don't think so. Maybe I do. I don't know. My mum has ADHD. It can be really horrible to deal with sometimes. People don't realize how hard it is. My mum has ADHD horribly. She's watching right now. The thing is, for some people, like it manifests very differently in a lot of people. My mum will often just walk away halfway through a conversation. She doesn't mean it, but she has really difficulty with the sort of the focus of attention. It's very like traditional classic ADHD. It's attention deficit, right? But the hyperactive one. But I think that's probably where I get the ADHD is from my mum. How's Pickle's medical studying going? She's good. She's doing placement very soon, which is like when you go and work at hospitals and get the practical experience. So she's got that coming up. If everyone wants to wish Pickle the best of luck with her placement, she will be doing that for the next few months, which is exciting. FPL is updated, Ross. Cool, we'll look at it in a second. Went Sar last week and Mateta this week. Oh, Sar and Mateta as a combo is great. I really hope Mateta starts. There is part of me that's worried that Nketiah could start, but I'm hoping because Nketiah was ill midweek, it means that he's not ready to start this game. Apparently there's a lot of overlap with ADHD and autism. Yeah, it's called ADHD. It's a term now that's used quite widely. I think a lot of people mistake each one for the other one. So some people say they've got ADHD, but really what they've got is autism, and I think vice versa as well. It's quite difficult. How many baby eggs do you want, Ross? Probably 2 or 3. 2 or 3. Start with 2 and see how we get on. Pretty sure I fit in that bracket. I'm pretty sure you do fit in that bracket, Pickle, yes. I think you do have a bit of the two. Oh, it has updated. Let's check out our team before we look at the teams coming up. Whoa, lag. Oh, I really hope Cunha's still available. Although it's not the easiest fixture, is it? But this is the game that we have Robinson coming back in. Bruno probably comes in for Mateta, I'd imagine. I might end up starting Mateta still. But I think I'd rather start Bruno. If Cunha gets banned, I don't have to sell Cunha. I could just start Mateta. I think I'll decide all of this coming up. But I guess we'll see how the team gets on and whatnot. And I probably will be captaining Salah, I'd imagine. Frosty said, we've got 3 all fairly young cars, become very problematic to get 3 car seats into. I'll bear in mind the logistics of that. Your streams make me feel better. Thank you. I'm glad. That's fantastic that they make you feel better. Rosh, you're doing a lot of cool stuff, which is great, but that's also a lot to tackle. I'm in awe. Keep at it, but look after yourself too. Thank you. I do need the reminder, to be honest. The thing is, because I function well when I'm busy and I enjoy it, I do also forget that even if I feel like I'm doing a good job, like sometimes I'll feel like I'm on top of everything. I've not missed any deadlines. I'm enjoying it. I feel energized. But just because you feel really good, it does still take its toll on you, as you say. So thank you for that reminder. Right, we get the teams in 2 minutes. What games are at 3 p.m? I know it's Crystal Palace are playing at 3. Let me remind myself. Crystal Palace at 3. Everton Forest at 3, Fulham Bournemouth at 3, and Spurs Wolves. So we'll look at all of the lineups there. Could you have 2 boys, please? I could try. I really want a little baby girl as well. I feel like I'd be great with a little baby girl. Give them lots of cuddles. Anyway, we shall see. We shall see what happens. Sorry if my stream's lagging. Is it completely... Why is my stream lagging that much? Whoa. Is the stream lagging for you really bad? Or is that on my end? Let me know. Would the baby boy not get cuddles? Yeah, of course. You should know me by now if you've watched my streams that I'm very affectionate, but I don't know. I just feel like I'd be a very good sort of girl dad. You know? When is the average age to get married in the UK? I don't actually know. Probably like mid to late 20s. Probably like 26, I'd imagine. 27. I mean, I am 27 now, so. Right, let's get ready. I'm going to check Palace first because obviously you just brought in 2 Palace players. And then I'll check like Wolves, Fulham, stuff like that. Right, we've got less than a minute. How can you stay mentally healthy when Bruno gets a red card when we bring him in? Keep up the good work. I didn't. That ruined my Boxing Day, I'll be honest. It ruined my Boxing Day. Okay. Nothing from Palace yet. We shall refresh again. Anything from Palace yet? Nope. We shall refresh again. I love that the teams seem to keep forgetting that they've got to post an hour and 15 before the games. Okay, we shall check some other teams whilst we're waiting. Let's make sure Cunha's starting. Yep, Cunha is starting, as is 8 Nuri. Fantastic. Let's go back to Crystal Palace. Did they decide they want to post yet? Mateta starts. Fantastic. So does Munoz. So does Eze. So does Sarr. Nketiah is on the bench, so he's available. He's back from his illness a little bit. So we might see an early sub for Mateta, but that is good news that he starts. I think otherwise that's pretty much their strongest 11. Am I missing anything there? Obviously no Gay because he's suspended. So it's Chalobah, Lacroix, Richards. Okay, Fulham. Is it Raul or is it Meniz? It is Raul Jimenez starts. Meniz on the bench. Castagna and it's a back five again. Probably shouldn't have benched Robinson. I did not expect them to play a back five against Bournemouth. They've gone back five, so it's Castagna and Robinson as wing backs, Diop, Anderson, and Bassi as the centre backs. So if you've started Castagna or Robinson, that's really good news for you. Strand Larsen benched. Oh, I didn't look at that. Let me see. So Semenyo starts, Kirkeshausen. Okay, nothing crazy for Bournemouth. I did not see that Strand Larsen was benched. Look at this. I literally said I think Strand Larsen is going to be a really good option. Or not, you know? Or not. Who else have I missed? What are the 3 p.m. teams? Is that it? Forest and Everton. And Spurs. Okay, I've missed loads. Oh, the sneeze. Spurs. Spurs is... Maddison benched again. Didn't expect that. Thought Maddison would come back into the 11. Dragusin is fit. That defense is a lot better than I thought it would look. So, Pedro Porro, Dragusin, Gray, you doggy. Basuma, Bentancur. I'm very surprised that Maddison's not back in the team. I'll be honest. Forest team's like the same every week, isn't it, though? Nothing that crazy there. Williams starts again. Nico Williams at that cheaper price could be a really good shout. And then Everton was the only other final one. Not that people probably own many Everton players. Young back in. Calvert-Lewin on the bench, as expected. Broja starts. Mikalenko in there. Cool. I don't think there was that many surprises then. I don't think there's that many surprises. Right, we've got the teams. We've got football soon. I need to get some food in my system. This is the team for this week. Hopefully Robinson doesn't do too much on my... You missed Southampton. I'm not... Look, why do I need to look at Southampton? No one owns Southampton players. If you own Southampton players, you're doing it wrong. Wait, I should check. Does Dibbling start? I think that's the only player that someone might own. No one owns Southampton players, do they? Dibbling does start. There we go. Cheeky start for Tyler Dibbling. It's not a good team, is it? No disrespect to Southampton. It's not good. I bet Dibbling wipes out my Munoz clean sheet now. Hopefully he doesn't. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. It's weird it being a Sunday. I keep forgetting it's a Sunday. There will be a video either later tonight or Monday morning, probably later tonight, which will be sort of looking ahead, early look at the upcoming game weeks and sort of fixtures coming up. Maybe have a little bit of a look towards the blanks and doubles later in the season as well. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I will catch you all very soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of the love, the super chats, the kind words. I adore each and every one of you that stays for this part of the stream. And yeah, have a lovely Sunday and I'll catch you soon, guys. Bye.